Hello and welcome to another episode of Manifest Actual Play. I'm Tommy Cotton. With me as always, Dan Barron, Addie Gia, Seth Lilly, Roman Mylan, and we are here to play some Manifest. But before we jump into any of the actual play or the recap or any of them shenanigans, these wonderful people have things to talk to you about. So I'm going to throw all the attention over their way and they can talk to you about some stuff, and then it will come back to me and we'll do the thing. Take it away.
That's how it usually goes. Hi, y'all. I am the titular Seth Lilly. That's right. This is the Seth Lilly Twitch stream. You may not have known that from the title. It's actually there, but it is. Tell your friends. I am here because every month we like to boost the numbers of, or boost the attention and spotlight of a nonprofit or a charity. And this month, January, is National Human Trafficking Awareness Month. So we are going to boost Polaris. They were founded in 2002, so they're celebrating their 20-year anniversary this year. They serve victims and survivors through the National Human Trafficking Hotline. They are dedicated to building a data set that illuminates how human trafficking really works in real time. I really like them because they work with survivors and center them in their work, allowing them to tell their stories and uplift their voices to educate about the systems that exist to intentionally or unintentionally support human trafficking. There's a lot of things that you may or may not know about. If you do some research, there are some banks that somehow, because of how money works and it's hard to track, has winded up in the hands of human trafficking. They want to fundamentally reduce the amount of trafficking by reforming and, in some cases, entirely upending the failed systems that allow it to thrive, such as poverty, gender discrimination, lack of worker protections, and failed social safety nets and child welfare. So they do really important, really amazing work. If you can volunteer your money or time or any platform that you might have, we have the link in the chat. Please click on that and check them out. They're a really great charity. I'm going to pass it on up to the next person. Who's up?
It's me. Hi, everyone. I'm the titular Roman Mylan. Welcome back to the Roman Mylan Variety Hour, sponsored by Crest. Crest melts in your mouth, not in your teeth. Welcome back to the Manifest We Play Live Actual Play. It's Tuesday. It's around about 8 o'clock. We're here for you. You're here for us. We appreciate you. We love you. If you can't remember when, you got a busy schedule. The modern worker, how are we supposed to keep track? Running a household and a family and a job? And the job probably sucks and you don't make a lot of money and your boss is real mean and yelled at you today about something that was totally not your fault. There's some buttons for that. Underneath me, there is a heart and there's a bell, and Twitch will tell you when we're live. You can follow us. You can get those notifications. Let the computers do it. It's the modern way. And then there's also a big purple button where you can subscribe. You can gift subscriptions. You can also give bits to us. All of that support goes right back into improving the stream. We're already looking towards season 3, which will be coming up here in the next few months. And we've got some exciting things coming, and all of that support can help us to make the show even better. We've got, I personally am really excited about some of the stuff we've got coming down the pipe, and all of y'all's support makes that happen and possible. So thank you so much. We love you all. We especially love people who it is their birthday today. Laura, if you're out there, happy birthday. There's a chance you're out there and it's your birthday. And if both of those things are true, or if you're not Laura and it's your birthday, honestly, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to anyone whose birthday is today.
Statistically, based on the number of people present, it's somebody's birthday.
Hey, that's what they say. It's always somebody's birthday. Crest toothpaste. We love y'all so much. Follow us on our socials, on our Facebook, on our Twitter, on our Instagram. On Laura Dern's Instagram. There may be Instagram sometime in your and our near future, but for now, keep up with Laura. We appreciate all she does for the show. And thank y'all so much as always for watching. We love you. I love you. And now I'm going to toss it over to my good friend, the titular Addie Gia.
I I just want everybody to know. Hi, I'm Addie Gia, the subject of apparently this stream, as it is mine. We don't discuss the bits ahead of time; they just happen, and I, the unfunny one, have to deal with that. So here we are. I'm here to talk to you about Patreon. Waypoint Game Designs has a Patreon. It's a crazy thing that we do that, but it's amazing, and we have amazing people who have become our patrons. And if you are interested in becoming a patron and getting some behind the scenes look at what we're working on, an exclusive Discord channel in our very exclusive Discord server, and also an adventure every month, and a blog post, at least at minimum, as well as any cool stuff that we just happen to make while we're working on Manifest. They get to see all that stuff first. So if you want to be on the cutting edge, on the cusp of all things Waypoint Game Designs, you can head over to patreon.com/Waypoint Game Designs and become a patron today. Also, as a little aside, because I think we usually go into something else later, is that I am currently guesting on another show on Twitch. It's on Mondays, so you missed yesterday, but it is the VOD is up. It is on Gilding Light, and I play a cool D&D character. So if you don't get enough of me here, you can always do that too for the next 6 weeks, plus the 2 episodes we already did.
Hey, Tay's also on that too, isn't he?
Tay, our beloved Scruff, is also on that with me. Yes, and some of my other amazing friends. Yeah. So it's Gilding Light. You should check it out if you have a free Monday. And now we've renamed the stream after Tommy. He's gonna lie to you. It's called Tommy Lies. Continue.
Well, here's where I have to break the hard truth and tell you, the viewers, that all of them have lied to you, because you can clearly see the title of the stream at the
Don't
bottom.
tell them to look at it. Come on.
I do nothing but speak truth to the audience. And in that vein...
Sorry, Tommy, all of them?
You've been lying for weeks now.
I have said nothing about the grit economy that can't be verified by facts. I've watched you put the grit in the dumpster.
Tommy sounds like he's campaigning to be reelected GM for season 3.
Now, let me speak directly to you, the viewer. As I gesture to you in a non-threatening way. So, anyone who is new around here might not know what these little numbers are in the top of all of our little windows. Well, this is how much grit we have. Grit is an expendable resource in Manifest that allows us to manipulate our dice rolls and make cool things happen, or things that at least we think are cool. And so, you can assist us by spending your channel points, aka your viewer grit, to gift grit to either any one of the players or me, the GM. So we have one coming in already from Fiddler Undone, +1 grit to Porter. Congrats, Porter. That puts you at 2 whole grit. Quick note about grit. They can only have a maximum of 12 grit. So if they ever get up to 12 grit, then you can't give them any grit. And I have no such limitations, though there is a reasonable limitation to the amount of grit I can spend in any given session. Usually when it's a session that involves combat, it's a lot easier for me to spend a lot of grit to fuck up their day. So if you want interesting things to happen, if you want to support the heroes, if you want to make the world more dangerous, you can spend your grit in whatever way suits you best. I will point out that it is cheaper to make the world more dangerous, so that's something for you to consider. But
honestly, think about that sentence. It's easier to make the world bad.
More dangerous and entertaining. So
Don't think too much about it. It's bumming me out.
Hey, Tommy made it that way.
So you can spend your grit as you see fit. +1 grit to the GM, like Master P. I am a no limit soldier, says Chris. So 1 grit to the GM. That's 9 grit for me. Haha. There we go. All right. So
Now,
now
my
you've seen how it
opponent would have
works.
you believe that I only have 2 grit, but the fact is, I should have 3 grit. And I want you to think about that when you're at the polling box, all right? Because if he lies to you about my grit, what's he telling you about yours?
Look at the screen, boy. There's a 2 on there. I don't know what to tell you.
I know, but on my chart, on my sheet, it says that I already had 2, so I added 3. So who are you gonna trust? Who are you gonna trust?
Vote for Seth. Right on the issues. Right for season 3.
Well, I've adjusted that to 3, so we're good to go. Okay, so with all that out of the way, we are now going to move on into the actual play section of the stream. But before we do that, we're going to teleport our minds to the world of Manifest by looking at cool character art made by the wonderful Kate May. Woo! All right, and we are back. Okay, so previously on Manifest Actual Play, our 4 drifters have been in the Heartwood Forest with their guide, Yasmin, who has a last name. Yasmin Almazi, skipper of the Ritz, a riverboat.
A series of canoes.
Yeah, now a series of canoes. A riverboat that was washed ashore during a flash flood that pushed our drifters off of the Flagstone River away from their destination, and they had to make their way through the Heartwood Forest throughout the treetops, battling dangerous critters like splinter cats and hide-behinds, and then eventually they made their way back to the Flagstone River, constructed a few canoes, and went through the rapids of the Flagstone River towards their destination, the guild hall of the Legionnaires of Astoria, a secretive guild hall of one of Manifest's legendary gunslinger guilds. They're heading there for 2 primary reasons. One, they encountered a Legionnaire a while back who fell in combat and made Gus swear to return his guns to the guild hall, telling our drifters where to find the guild hall. Additionally, they believe that their enemy, Leo Riggs, is also heading in this direction to learn more about the mysterious man known as Owen Lemaire, an immortal being who has been alive for hundreds of years and apparently has some machinations that scare Leo Riggs enough that that Leo Riggs has made learning more about him his next target. And where better to learn about Owen Lemaire than where he hails from, the Legionnaire Guildhall, as Eloise saw in Owen's own memories. So we ended the session. They had been through a harrowing experience through the forest and the rapids. You all are a little banged up. Eloise, you are flying above your companions who are below on a pair of canoes. And ahead, you all see this castle built into the canyon above you with a bridge, a stone bridge connecting it across above the river. You can see somewhat flooded but still accessible like series of basically docks that have stairs that lead up to the main body of this castle. The castle itself, it looks old, ancient, weathered, and beaten up, though not abandoned. In fact, you can see light from within on the other side of the cracked, vine-ridden, but still hauntingly beautiful stained glass windows that line the body of this castle. You can see fires flickering and candlelight glowing, showing that you are probably not approaching an abandoned structure. And that is where we left. So all of you are going to be able to pull your canoes up to that kind of area, lash them up, and get your feet on what is again a somewhat flooded dock area where the water is kind of like rushing up and occasionally like splashing over because the forest is not completely drained out at this point, so the water level is higher than normal for sure. But you're all able to get there. Yaz is able to help everyone lash up the canoes. You're all there. You can go a couple steps up to the next landing to get away from like the actual rushing water. Eloise, you're the one with the most latitude about where you want to be. You have, the full range of your jetpack. Do you join your friends down in the lower docks, or do you land somewhere else?
Oh man. I think that probably I should maybe go. Addie really wants to go to the top up.
And get shot? Like what?
I really want to see what's up there. So maybe is there like a higher up landing or something where I could split the difference, where I could still see my friends, but like maybe there's like a door or something that is like higher up.
You want to land basically where these like platforms attached to the base of the castle?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't have to climb the stairs?
Yeah.
That seems very reasonable.
So you all see Eloise kind of moving towards up like a few landings above you to where this kind of almost scaffolding like structure meets with the lower part of this castle that is not part of the stone of the mountain, but instead carved and hewn stonework with a large big huge like double door, which as you kind of land down, and you are all, I assume, making your way up through like the slight drizzle and rain that is still coming down here. You hear, Eloise, a big clanking sound on the other side of the door as you and land down, and you see your friends making their way up towards you, and then the door just opens up slightly enough for someone to step out. And you see a man in his mid-40s. He has hair pulled back into a ponytail. It's kind of a grayish brown, and he's got a big like mustache that leads into a goatee that kind of like covers up most of his mouth. And he steps out. You see he is wearing a large armored coat. Slung over his back is a rifle, and in his hand is a pistol. And he steps out, regards you. He's not like holding the gun threateningly. He's actually has it kind of crossed in his hand in front of him. But he steps out, like kind of holding his wrist with one hand and the gun in the other. And he just kind of like regards you, looks like down, sees through the scaffolding basically that your friends are approaching. And he goes, "Howdy. Odd weather for visitors." You're muted. Oh, okay, never mind.
Oh no,
No,
I
you're
didn't
not.
say anything yet. No. Yay. Hello. We were actually headed this way when the bad weather hit, so we were already. The weather did sort of impede our ability to come down river as quickly as we wanted, but like we were coming here, so we were you. That was just saying. I'm Eloise.
Reuben Richards. As your friends kind of come up onto the landing behind you, a couple things happen. One, +1 grit to Porter from the pack walk.
Mwah!
Porter's up to 4. And as the rest of you step up, he basically calls over Eloise's shoulder. "That's close enough if you don't mind. I would take it as a kindness if you were to lay down any weapons you had on that there table. And we can have a nice little chat, get you out of the rain."
Porter doesn't hesitate. He does that immediately.
Do you want us to also leave the guns that belong to you on the table?
What'd you say?
The guns that belong to you, would you like them on the table as well, or should we hand those to you directly?
He regards the group again, like with a little more scrutiny. Dex, you see him notice your guild buckle and guns on your hip. And he just like makes a little bit of like pointed eye contact with you. Before he says, "What's this young lady talking about?"
Does it seem like, is he talking to me?
Yeah, that direction.
Oh,
that question is
sure.
directed
Okay.
right at you.
We met Alistair Caldwell on our travels. He unfortunately met his end when we rode with him against some outlaws he was after. And I nod over to Gus. He entrusted his weapons to my friend here, made him swear to bring him back, and told us how to get here.
You were just holding up
I'm holding the butt of the gun to my just holding yeah, I wouldn't be much use shooting him. I could bring him to you or I can leave him here. I don't know what you want. He made me promise to bring these to you.
Reuben sits there for a moment longer, sees the guns, seems to recognize the name, and goes, "Well, it's a shame to hear of his passing, but you done us a great service by returning those. Please, come on in." And he moves the door a little bit wider for everyone to step in out of the rain.
We do.
As soon as you get close enough, Gus, he holsters his pistol and reaches out. He's stepped inside and kind of pulled out like a cloth. And he holds out his arm with the cloth laid over, and you're like, "If you would."
Yeah, of course. And Gus, I think hands he hands over the pistols, and as he does, he takes a deep contented sigh, and from under his shirt for just a moment, his little pendant of the triptych triangle glows for a moment, and then and then fades out.
Cool. Ruben takes the cloth, folds it over. You might notice he notices like the glow of your meditation stone. But he doesn't seem to regard it with much like he doesn't give it much time as he wraps up the guns, turns to shut the door behind you. And then he again regards Dex and he goes, well, it's been quite some time since a warden of the Silent Peak has graced our halls with his presence. What was your business with Caldwell?
He had some information about the FPC over in Fort Dearborn that we needed. Sort of relates to why we're here now. There is a man named Leo Riggs who has recently received something of tremendous power from Owen Lemaire.
His face falls a little bit, but anyone who wants to try to get a read on him can roll.
Yeah, absolutely.
As he does try to mask his reaction. You're only up against a 6.
I'm rolling manipulate for playing the player.
Mm-hmm.
Am I the aggressor in this scenario?
No, he is. He is actively trying to.
I have 2 net hits then.
Okay.
Oof. Could have been. That's 3 net hits for Porter.
Okay. Both of you can tell that he doesn't seem to show any recognition on the name Leo Riggs. He also doesn't seem to fully comprehend when you say the FPC. But then you say Owen Lemaire, and his he very casually manages to turn his back and hide his face as he does some mental math as he's like, fuck, he doesn't like that name came up. And then Porter, the other thing you get is this man is not in charge here. And he does not want to continue this line of conversation with you. And so but what he does to basically play off strange, let's move on, let's move on, he's trying to he's not trying to be you need to talk to my superiors right away, is what he's doing as he goes well, that's sounds like an awful messy business you're wrapped up in. I need to return these guns to Donalda, and let's get you closer to one of the hearths. You can warm up by a fire. You do notice that all the this area is basically very, very dimly lit. This kind of lower section of the castle is very dimly lit with a couple sconces with candles that line the hallway. You also Eloise, you're able to notice there are lights here that are not currently in use. And he goes, come right this way and I'll introduce you to the Branyas.
Okay.
And he moves along and gestures for you to follow him as he moves down the hall towards kind of a winding staircase that leads up to the main body of the castle.
There's not, I guess I kind of want to roll empathetic to see. I am just a naturally paranoid person, and I just want to make sure that we aren't being led to some kind of something that's going to put us in jail, basically. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead and roll empathetic.
Meanwhile, Eloise is just like.
It's my favorite thing that Porter has come to the castle of the Gunslinger Guild we heard described as like hardline shoot first, ask questions later, and he's concerned for being put in jail.
This castle has a dungeon?
What's that?
Think this castle has a dungeon?
Oh, it's a castle. It's got to have a dungeon, right?
Not a castle if it doesn't have a dungeon.
I
It's
like
just
to
like a
think
house then.
I like to think that Porter and Gus had that hushed exchange out of everyone's earshot for a brief moment. Like Gus, not even like as like as a point of fear. It's just like he's read about castles and stories.
There's a Rico where he goes to a castle, and of course he goes to a dungeon.
Yeah, you're like, wow, a whole real castle.
Oh, I'm not going to spend grit on this. That's 3 successes.
Okay, cool. All right. So you don't seem to be in trouble. Which seems to be the main vein of what you're looking to find out. He is basically doesn't want to say anything that he's not supposed to say. He doesn't want to make promises that he's unable to keep. He does seem genuinely grateful that you returned the guns. You are currently here as friends. But the name drop of Owen Lemaire has rattled him enough that he wants to get you to talk to somebody who can handle that situation better than he can.
That's honestly helpful, and I'm just making sure that that's the accurate situation we're running into. So I love that.
Yeah.
Let's go meet the Branias.
You go up a winding stone staircase, again only lit by candlelight, and you make your way into a much larger, wider hall, which is much colder at first, but then you start hitting pockets of heat as there are about like on either side about half a dozen large fireplaces that are all lit with roaring flames that do help combat like the draft inside this castle. Still though, even with those lights, like these large steepled like hall that you're in, you can only barely see like the ceiling, mostly by the virtue of some of the exterior walls that have those like stained glass windows that are letting some of the natural light go as the day gets darker and darker. He says, if you'd be so kind, just go ahead and right here, I'll go get Morgan or Vance, and they can have a word with you. I presume you're gonna want to stay over for the at least till the weather passes. I can
If you got the accommodations, we'd appreciate it.
absolutely. We're pretty thin right now. I'll get some of the stewards together and make sure that we get you some accommodations befitting a gunslinger. He says, gesturing to Dex. And
Is Yaz in here with us?
yeah, Yaz is following, just like kind of like in the back, like this is a lot.
Just, I was wondering what
Yeah.
his reaction would be.
Yeah, Yaz is just kind of like, okay, I'm in a castle.
Welcome to our life, yes.
And actually, as you are left alone in this large, like kind of hallway that has these branching, like these like other halls that break off of it, these large stairs that lead up to other levels, and you can see the mouth of like the big door that seems to lead towards the front where you kind of saw that bridge was built out. You can see like the circular like exterior window above that. Yaz does finally speak up, and she goes, "The hell are we doing here?"
But you didn't get it from the conversation. We're here on a righteous mission.
Yeah, I had to give back the guns.
We came all the way here to poke our nose into what I imagine is a gunslinger hall to give them back some guns.
Well, there's that, and the matter of the future of the Badlands. But other than that, yeah, that's mostly.
Yeah, he made me promise him. He was dying. He made me promise him I'm a triptych symbol, and that's you got to follow through on those. I mean, you should try to follow through on all promises, but that one felt like I had to.
Gus here didn't want to have to be hunted by the ghost of a gunslinger. None of us do, really.
No. Yep.
Okay.
Can't punch a ghost, I don't think.
I don't think.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, the way I recall, I just needed to drop y'all off. So, maybe I buy that there jetpack off of you and I hightail it out of here. I don't much want to be wrapped up in all this, and I think the storm's letting up good enough that I can get out of here. I don't need to be a part of whatever the hell it is y'all are mixing up in right now.
Oh, you don't. I mean, you can. Yeah, you can have it.
All right, then it's all the
You know
same
how
to...
to pilot it. Like you feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's all the same to you. I'll head out first thing in the morning. I don't want to be... I mean, I figured I was dealing with one gunslinger, but I don't want to deal with all of them.
That's fair enough. Should we just hold on to what we have of the what was the name of our ship again?
The Ritz?
Ritz. I was thinking of something completely different. Should we hold on to the parts
Y'all
of the
can
Ritz?
keep the canoes. That's fine. I'll go ahead and I'll just make my way back. Job well done and all that.
I do appreciate your help getting us here. I know it wasn't the easiest trip, but couldn't have done it without you.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'd rather brave the Heartwood than deal with dead gunslingers and guns and whatever an FPC is. This is a little more than I signed up for, folks.
That's fair.
I figured you was on the lam or something, going to some hideout. I didn't think you was taking me to... I didn't even know this place existed.
Yeah, it's pretty
Try
wild.
and keep it to yourself. I don't think they like very much of
You know what? I was way ahead of you on that one. I figured this is not something I need to go run my mouth out about.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. Yes.
And that's when you hear echoing through one of the halls, preceded by a little bit of torchlight ahead. You hear the jingling of spurs as wrapping around the corner. You see three people approaching you. Reuben Richards, there again. And then you see two people, a man in his mid-50s and a woman in her early 60s. They are very clearly siblings. They look similar enough together that you can easily guess that they are siblings. The man is wearing like a fur coat, kind of double-breasted, opened up at the hip. He's wearing two guns on his hip. You notice they're not like gunslinger guns, and the buckle, he doesn't have like a gilt buckle. He just has two pistols. And he wears a pair of spectacles. He's slightly balding, with short cropped hair where he has it, and has a very neatly trimmed beard with a somewhat longer mustache. And then the woman has short hair that is kind of like a little taller on top, and kind of like curls naturally. She regards you with like hard, like stern eyes. She's got deep lines in her face that imply a lot of time spent out like ranging in the sun. She is wearing a coat very similar to what Alistair Caldwell had, this kind of like leather armored duster, and she does in fact have a gilt buckle on her gun belt, and on her hips two immaculate hard caliber pistols, similar in design to Alistair Caldwell's, but very distinctly different, and somehow even more like awe-inspiring. As she steps around, her hands kind of holding like position on her like she's holding on to her jacket, like kind of holding it a little close as she walks around. The man in the double-breasted like fur coat is holding a torch, and Ruben trails behind them, and steps out to the side and says, "May I introduce Morgan Branya, cadre of the Legionnaires, and Vance Branya, senior scribe."
It's great to meet you. I'm Warden Bailey of the Silent Peak.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance, Mr. Bailey. And she reaches out a hand to shake yours.
Shake your hand.
And who
Porter
else?
Janus. Porter Janus of Merrickam's Landing.
Shakes your hand as well. Turns expectingly at the rest of you.
Yeah, I'm Gus Gurley from the Winona Valley.
We'll shake your hand, turn to Eloise.
I'm Eloise.
And I'm Yaz.
From way in the back.
She does shake your hand and goes to shake Yaz's hand, who like goes up and like takes her hand and goes, "My lady," with like a slight little like bow, and Morgan chuckles at that and says, "That's not necessary. I understand you returned Legionnaire Caldwell's pistols to us. I'm saddened to hear of his passing."
It was a sad event for us to witness as well. He seemed honorable.
Well, I truly appreciate you returning those to us. Oftentimes, when a Legionnaire hasn't the ill fortune of falling in the field, we have to end up tracking down and hunting down their guns for years to come until we can reclaim them. So, truly, this is a great service you've done us. We can.
And I don't think any of us had the predilection of facing a legionnaire of your guild wearing one of these guns. So it was my friend was honor bound, and it think nothing of it.
Well, again, you have my thanks. We'll see to it that you are taken care of, fed, and housed for however long you need before you move on. Richard said you had other business. You were looking for someone.
That's right.
I suppose we came to warn you and learn what we could. A man by the name of Leo Riggs, an illuminated terrorist, illuminated supremacist, just recently received some kind of serum from Owen Lemaire. And Riggs is scared enough of Lemaire to try and find out how we can stop him if the event comes about. I gather that means he's heading here.
And you seem to think he's received something from Owen Lemaire. On what authority do you have reason to believe it was a man presumed dead hundreds of years ago?
My friend saw him and the ghost that he was when the body he was in died.
Do you gesture to Eloise when
Yeah.
She turns and she goes, "Eloise, right?"
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I would very much like to hear that story. Rumors abound about the Lemaires and their sordid history. Rumors that very seldomly actually find their way into these halls. So I don't suspect you to be telling me a known lie, but I would like to hear what you've seen and compare with what I know. And I appreciate you bringing this to my attention. This Leo Riggs, I've not heard of him, though Richards did mention the FPC. Is that the Free People's Coalition? That movement brewing in the Badlands?
That's right.
Formerly.
Well, if they have chosen to target the Legionnaires for one reason or another, they will be upset with what they find. But again, I would like to hear the full story. But for now, let's. We're getting ready to have some meals finished. You can go ahead. If you need a change of clothes, we can accommodate that. Richards can show you to your room. And we can break bread together and talk about what it is you've seen, and I might have some questions for you once I hear more. But
Of course.
for now, there's no reason to be standing here in this hall.
Does your generator need fixing?
Vance speaks up at that, going, "Yeah, the storm knocked it out about a day or two back. It's pretty beaten up. We sent some people down river before the storm got really bad. We're assuming they've made it through worse, but we're not expecting them back anytime soon. So we're just making do with more rudimentary forms of light. But yeah, no, generator got knocked out.
It's here though.
Yeah,
Would you like me to take a look? I'm very good at fixing things.
Made that jetpack.
I mean, if
It's not very good. It's okay.
if you would like to take a look at it, I mean, Donalda's master gunsmith, but the technology that we need, mostly it's a lack of parts, I believe. But if you want to take a look at it, see if there's anything you can do, absolutely. Morgan says, "You're welcome to do that now, or if you'd like to rest up and change before we eat. It's up to you. Otherwise, Ruben, you can see her to the generator. Yeah." And Ruben says, "Of course." And then Vance and Morgan kind of like step back, and Morgan goes, "Well then, Ruben can see you to your rooms, you perhaps to the generator, and then we'll have some stewards fetch you for a meal. We can break bread. I don't believe I need to tell you this, but she says, like, specifically to Dex, but then says, but there are certain parts of this castle that are off limits to outsiders. I would appreciate it if you remained confined to this main level and resisted the urge to look around in places you ain't invited."
No urge to resist, Cadre Morgan. We'll keep to ourselves and keep to the appropriate spaces.
Excellent. Well then, Ruben, if you would be so kind. And Ruben says, "It's going to be this way." And she says, "Thank you again for returning Caldwell's guns."
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So anyone who wants to, throughout that exchange, basically stop from being generally read as far as like quality of character and shit like that. You and like nervousness and whatnot. Like if anyone's feeling particularly nervous, like for instance, Yaz, you can roll a blend to try not to catch the attention of anyone who's here. I'm going to go ahead and roll. You can roll if you want to resist it. If you're just being cards on the table about things, then they're not like looking deep into your soul. They're not going to get knowledge they wouldn't. But like Yaz is going to fail this roll, and Morgan, Dex are going to be able to tell that. Morgan and Vance are like, okay, this is someone who we probably like they're not. This person's not honor bound
This
like
is
these
NPC.
drifters. Yeah, this person's not honor bound like this drifter is over here. Like,
I'm not going to resist, but I've been feeling pretty good about my roles. I'm gonna read them back so that I can really like hone in on the power dynamic here, and just in case we need something from them in the future, how any information that I gather can be exploited.
yeah, absolutely. So this is empathetic you're rolling, right?
I think it's empathetic, although that just is for reading mood, right?
Empathetic would probably get you more close to the kind of things that you're looking for.
If you roll well on it, it can get you more than just current mood.
Sure. That's 5 hits.
So when you get 5 hits, you get more than just their current mood.
Read their soul
Yeah,
like a book. That's what it says in the official text.
not
Read 'em
quite.
Read them like a chat book.
Okay. So you're trying to get a read on basically Morgan Vance and Ruben in general, just trying to get a read on like them and what kind of things you might do to ingratiate yourself to them.
Morgan and Vance especially, but yes, Ruben's there too for sure.
Okay. So yeah, Morgan, one thing you can tell is Morgan embodies a lot of what you've heard about the Legionnaires. You think that if, for instance, if like you decided to go snooping around the castle, she might just shoot you for it. She might just be like she'll, or at least she'll challenge you, right? And then you'll have the option to concede and leave the castle never to return. Maybe if you're lucky. But yeah, she basically at any moment will shoot any of you down if she deems that it is necessary for the betterment of Manifest and like the guild in general. And the other thing you kind of get from her is she doesn't like the insinuation that Owen Lemaire is actively doing anything. She immediately, you kind of are able to tell, she bristles against the idea that Owen Lemaire is an active agent right now. But also is interested enough in what you have to say that she's not going to just like throw you out. She's going to listen, and you get the sense that she doesn't want to talk with you about it. She wants to know what you know and then send you on your way. Okay. She's not looking to enlist your assistance or anything like that. She considers it Legionnaire business basically. So like, you know that she's going to be pretty stilted and uninviting to like reluctant to give information for sure, very reluctant to receive information, and then probably downplay any fears you have and send you away. You don't really get a full sense of like why that is the case, or if there's even really any like you don't get the sense of like whether or not she's attempting to hide something from you, more that she sees like the name Owen Lemaire is like strictly Legionnaire business in her eyes, and she doesn't want to entertain sharing that information with outsiders. If you're looking for like an angle for how you could receive that, that's a bit beyond you. Like you would have to earn her trust, or basically fight the Legionnaires to get that info. And like earn her trust is more than just like she trusts you guys. She trusts, like, you can tell she immediately trusts like Gus and Dex, like, you know, to like behave like honorably and with respect. But she doesn't give you the like there's like another layer of trust, right? Where like you would have to convince her that you are worth learning about Legionnaire secrets, a thing that she probably, as the head of this guild, is like duty bound to keep from you.
Right.
So basically ingratiating yourself to her involves probably a significant amount of investment. You don't know if that means you have to like start training to become a Legionnaire to eventually become a Legionnaire gunslinger.
Right? Just gather them on like Pokemon.
Or if there's something else, you don't get the sense from her that there is a thing that she's like, well, I'll tell you if you do this. Like, there's not like that coming up.
Yeah.
She plans on getting your information, treating you with respect and hospitality, and then sending you on your way without sharing anything that she doesn't want to share. Is kind of the idea you're getting from her. So, and I guess the last little thing you'll get with your 5 successes is she has a respect for Dex. Same to like any like you like see that she recognizes Dex's like accomplishment as being a warden. But she doesn't like it's very much like almost, I guess your best way would be like when you like your best comparison would be like if you're like shipping master of like the company that you worked for had to do business with another company, like that was like they were on good terms with, but like they obviously have different goals and their goals all revolve around profit, so obviously they see each other as competitors. It's not that same exact thing, but like she is going to treat Dex with respect and all that. She's not like, she doesn't see him as like a threat or anything, but she also is like gonna probably be a little more guarded with Dex around, because anything that she even would consider revealing, she would then be revealing to the wardens as well. She is the way she kind of views it, as she nods at Dex as they pass by, and like you just kind of see that exchange where it's like she gives him that extra bit of respect, being like, yes, you are also a head of like an important company, but we are also like business rivals in a way, or something like that. It's like the vibe you get from her.
I feel like she has just assumed that Dex is like the leader of this group and is getting us, is like the person directing our quest.
Yeah, absolutely. You see, like she's like, okay, this is a gunslinger and his traveling companions. So like Dex is the person who she is doing business with right now.
Yeah, he's Doctor Who. We're the companions. That's fair.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then just my last question: do I know if the Legionnaires put any stock in like, because we all have bounties on our heads, is that something that they care about, or do they just want to judge their own morality? Do they really give a shit about laws and shit in the Badlands and Manifest? They live up to their you like the way you've seen Dex kind of perform. You're not able to kind of fully get like a sense of like what their fucking ethos is, like what their like, you know, moral code is. But like if Dex is to be kind of the yardstick that you're using to measure gunslingers by, and then you also know the reputation of the Legionnaires, and you interacted with Caldwell as well, like you don't like, a thing that is kind of known about gunslingers is that they don't necessarily operate under the same laws as everyone. They kind of do what they think is right, and they are able to do that through a couple of things. One, just kind of universally around Manifest, it's like you are, if someone means to do you bodily harm, if someone reaches for their weapon and you gun them down, that is like a lawful, like clean kill, right? And like the problem is like that has so many, like the actual like the actual practice of that varies wildly throughout, right? Like especially in the factory towns, like they're gonna be like, yeah, but because you were at fault for doing these other things, you caused the situation, so you're also in trouble, right? Whereas like in the Badlands, like if like enough people in a saloon like says like, yeah, he reached for his gun, like the sheriff's gonna be like, all right, well, I don't love that you shot someone in my town, but like
sure, okay, he was kind of an asshole
just don't make it a
anyways.
habit.
Yeah, just don't make it a habit. Watch yourself. Maybe leave tomorrow. Like is like the way it's handled in like a lot of smaller towns. And so because of that, like gunslingers are typically able to like what they do is they stand against people who normally can get away with kind of intimidating and bending the rules and stuff to make it so they're like the basically the thing where it's like the gunslinger's like, I'm going to shoot you if you keep doing what you're doing. Or you can stop doing what you're doing. Or sometimes the gunslinger's like, I'm just going to shoot you. And basically like a showdown with a gunslinger is like the cleanest way in which they can do it and still like be allowed to proceed within the laws of like that are made by man on Manifest. But oftentimes a gunslinger, like if they can't get someone to draw down on them, like they will still like fight people and kill people who don't necessarily fit that legal like thing. Like that's like you hear about like mayors, like corrupt mayors being shot down by gunslingers, right? And shit like that. And it's like anyone else trying to do that, the one thing that they would have is like then marshals and sheriffs would be like, okay, well, we're taking you in, but the problem is it's really, really hard to take in a fucking gunslinger because if you try to do that, the gunslingers will be like, look, if you try to stop me from going after evil people, I'm going to kill you. And like that's like the like lockstep like interpretation of like the Legionnaires and gunslingers as a whole. Like you get a lot of those vibes like easily. Sure. Like she carries herself in the same way Alistair does. She carries herself with a more military bent than Dex does. Like you feel like she probably could easily fall into that window of experience you have with gunslingers.
Sure, absolutely.
The other thing that you get with 5 successes is just a mechanical thing. You will get +1 to all personality and discipline checks against her. We'll say Morgan specifically. Since you try to do like a scatter shot, but Morgan's obviously the one who is the potentially the most in charge here. So against Morgan, you get a +1 to all personality based tests and also all discipline tests until her mood changes significantly. So until she trusts you less or more, right? It could be good. It could be a good mood change, but basically while you are in this state of relationship with her, you have a bonus because you've read her pretty well.
Lovely.
+1 grit to Dex from Argentlam saying the technical term for a gunslinger gunning down a corrupt mayor is erasing them from the timeline.
Thank you for this grit.
And now Argentlam also is excited that you have enough grit to double down if you need to. To that end. Cool. So you are led down some halls, up some more stairs, into a more narrow hall to be shown where your rooms are. There's a few stewards that join along the way, most of which are definitely younger than Ruben, Vance, and Morgan are. But like still like, you know, the youngest person you see is like upper 20s, at least in this particular moment. And they see you to your rooms. You guys have basically 4 rooms along like one length of hallway. I guess 5 rooms because he has 5 rooms along one length of hallway, all of which are still lit by light. They have basically shared fireplaces on their walls that like you can't see into the other person's room. There's like a stone blank slate in the middle, but like you can at least hear each other pretty easily. But yeah, they have like their joined walls have like shared 2 of the rooms have one shared fireplace that has fire burning on either side of a wall, basically that goes up the same sheet. And altogether, like everything is kind of quiet. The people are polite. You do notice like differently than the wardens of the Silent Peak, everyone here has a gun. The wardens, the stewards and the wardens, they actually didn't carry firearms on them. They had different weapons. You actually Dex, you just know this. They are trained to fight with like these kind of like boomerangs that can be both a melee weapon and a thrown weapon.
Sokka style?
Yeah, Sokka style. But like the wardens actually make a very important point to like not give guns to people until they believe that they are ready for that step. Whereas everyone here has a gun.
You're given a gun at the door.
Yeah. They all have different kinds of firearms. The stewards are all armed with one pistol. Like everyone has firearms on them.
I think everybody who shows up probably already has a gun, right? And if you show up without a gun, they're like, "What are you doing here?
How did you get here?
What is wrong with you? Take this gun now."
Your weapons are all returned to you.
Okay.
They actually never collected Dex's weapons. Basically, that kind of moment where he was saying like, "Put the guns on the table." A couple of you did, and then basically you moved on, and he invited you in. Dex, you never relinquished your guns, and he never asked for them. Yeah, there was like you were able to immediately understand when he saw the guild buckle and everything. He's like, everyone but this guy, lay down your weapons. You think that, I mean, regardless of any other gunslinger guild, if there was one gunslinger guild that was never going to ask a gunslinger to put down their gun, it would be the Legionnaires. But yeah, your weapons are all returned to you. You guys are given your rooms. You are shown there's actually here in this kind of guest suite, there's these they have like these ropes nearby the beds that you can pull that will ring a bell, and a steward that is nearby will come and attend to you. So that you don't have to basically like wander the castle being like, "Hey, where's the bathroom?" or whatever. So they kind of show that. They introduce you to two stewards that will be attending you during your stay here. Ruben obviously being the head steward, but then there's two other stewards. There's Tamala Mooney and Hunter O'Connor. Both of which are they like, see you to your room, help you get your stuff back. They introduce themselves and then make themselves basically scarce as they move on to deal with other aspects of the castle. At that point, Ruben does ask you, Eloise, he goes, "Did you want to take a look at the generator now, or are you wanting to change up and rest up before dinner?"
Oh, I'm all right. I can drive anywhere I am. It won't make a difference.
All right. Well, then if you'll follow me, I'll lead you to it.
Okay.
I
do.
I think seeing like Ruben leading Eloise, Dex will sort of like lean out of his. If I'm understanding it right, are they like full rooms with doors, or are they like alcoves cut into the side?
They're full rooms with doors.
Okay, yeah. So I think Dex will like lean out of his door, like, "You want company?"
Oh, I mean, if you want to, I'm fine either way.
Sure. And then Dex will come with you.
Okay.
Cool. He leads the two of you, leaving Porter and Gus in their adjoined room to kind of like settle. Are you two getting up to anything, Porter and Gus? I know Dex and Eloise are walking through the castle with Ruben. I just want to make sure. I don't know if you guys are just kind of like resting and like recuperating a little bit. Yaz immediately like goes in the room and like changes and like is just like, I don't think, she says to you, Porter, she goes, "I don't think I'm very hungry. I got some rations. I'm going to go ahead and I'll sit out on dinner."
That's fair. Yeah, we won't expect you.
You can go ahead and just tell the gunslingers that I'm going to be leaving as soon as day hits, and they don't need to worry about nothing.
Will do. You are going to be all right staying here for the night, right?
Yes. Why?
I just, I understand that gunslingers can make folks uncomfortable, and I don't want to put you in a situation that you can't be in. That's all.
Well, it's either here or out in the forest, and I think I'm going to go ahead and assume that your friend with his shiny buckle and his guns buys me at least one night.
It certainly does.
All right. Well, I'm gonna be in this room. Do me a favor. Only knock if you need me.
Understood.
And she like sets Eloise's jetpack like by her bed and like shuts the door.
Hey, Porter.
Yeah. What's up?
Where do you think they slap the water around here?
It doesn't seem cold enough. I'd imagine, probably the Legionnaires probably have something similar that they do that is just as terrible.
Yeah, I mean, there's all these. Maybe they like got to punch a tree.
Yeah,
That
wrestle a
hurts.
Snollygoster or something. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a Snollygoster you got to wrestle.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to walk around, look around a little bit? I mean, we can't leave like the main floor, but like, I don't know, look around. We're in a castle. I want to see the castle.
I don't see why not. As long as we get back for dinner, because I am bloody starving.
Oh, Porter, there ain't no part of me that's about to miss this dinner. We've been out on that river for a hot minute. I'd love a good meal.
Yeah.
Honestly, I want to compare it to the Peak.
I
Hey,
wonder
if
if
you're
it's
learning to be a gunslinger, I feel like food quality's got to play a factor.
Gotta shop around for a guild.
Like going to college, it's like
Yeah,
they all-
exactly.
It's a backup guild. I don't know.
This is my safety guild.
My safety guild, yeah.
sure. I'm legacy.
I like the programs, but the cafeteria, I don't know.
Yeah, you guys are able to. You like the castle itself is not lit very well. There are pockets of light from like these the sources of fire, but it is a fucking castle. You are able to grab like a candelabra off of like either a desk or the wall and walk around with like a candelabra.
Walk around like a romance novel.
Yeah, through
Cover.
this castle as
Or,
like
like,
thunder
the
rumbles and
Gothic-
rain trickles down, and you guys are walking around.
Do you think they have those pajamas here with the hat that's like really, really long, little puff file in the end?
Yeah, and the guy gets taught to like Fire Knights by the end of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Porter and Gus are in Northanger Abbey, just like, oh no, there's a murder.
Yeah, it is a bit ominous. Like one thing, like the wardens. There was the warden for one thing. The area that the wardens live in, like their guild hall, so much smaller than this castle. And so maybe that leads into it a little bit. Like there were more people around, and you don't just like walk around and just see nobody. You do see occasionally some people who like seem like, nod to you. You like notice that like maybe Porter, you notice that like you see Tamala and Hunter more than you see other people. Like they're not like shadowing you or stalking you or anything, but like they see you in a region of the castle and they seem to make it a point to like return to that region of the castle and just see that you're okay and then move on. They don't like, unless you like give them an indication that you want to talk to them, they don't interrupt you or anything. You haven't done anything that like requires their intervention, but like you can tell that they're kind of watching.
I think Porter's challenge during this entire experience within the castle is to be as open and honest as he possibly can be, because he literally bears these people no ill intent. He actually really needs their help, and he thinks that's the best way to get it.
Cool.
Yeah. Two things. One, I've realized that because Porter is a doctor, that by default makes Gus Sherlock Holmes.
Hey, yes, it does.
The second thing is, I think I wave at him at one point. I'm like, hey, y'all got like them cool windows we can look at? We saw them from the outside. I don't know. We're just trying to look around. Y'all got anything cool we can see?
I can give you a tour if you like, says Hunter.
That'd be amazing. We'd love that.
All right.
We're just sort of walking around. We don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to like open too many doors because like there's some places we ain't supposed to go. But like I'd love to see the cool stuff.
Yeah.
I ain't never been in a castle before.
Don't get to
Porter,
see
you?
the castle very often, do you?
Yeah.
So Hunter gives you a tour of like the main areas of the castle. Like you return to that like kind of entrance hall, and like you're able to kind of see like the stained glass from there. Then he leads you up some stairs and into basically a hall where there's a few tapestries of like old gunslingers that were like woven and hung up here. And like he tells you a few stories about a few gunslingers from like long ago. You do notice that like Lemaire's nowhere in there. Lemaire's name doesn't come up. But like also you don't get the indication that these are like the only gunslingers that they have like paintings of or tapestries of or anything. Like this is from like one specific era. Like they fought like a fight like, you know, about like 70 to like 100 years ago. Like these gunslingers, like he basically tells you their story, and it was like, you know, these 6 gunslingers here and these tapestries, like they actually worked together. He also like mentions that like, you know, if it comes up at all, which I imagine maybe it might, like if you mention like the Warden's Guild Hall like seeming to have more people around, like Hunter will go on to tell you that like, well, this guild hall in specific is the guild hall. The Legionnaires are a widespread enough guild that they have like kind of effectively like minor guild halls scattered around Manifest. And this guild hall in particular is where like people like sometimes will begin their training, but not always. He mentions that like one thing he says in particular that catches your interest is he goes like, from my understanding, the wardens out of all gunslingers, they range the smallest amount of territory. It's very common for them to spend a lot of time in their guild hall. Legionnaires, we touch base here from time to time, you know, but for the most part, you know, except for a few lighter seasons when people's, you know, travel lines up, I mean, most will end up in here is maybe somewhere as much as, if it's not a special occasion, as much as, you know, 20 gunslingers and an appropriate amount of stewards and scribes. But also the blacksmiths tend to stay nearby the forge. You know, when there's dozens of stewards tending to other parts of the castle. Right now, we only have 4 gilded gunslingers, if you count Morgan, who is of course one of the cadre of the Legionnaires. But currently that's all we have in the castle.
And what is the cadre?
It's he like looks a little confused. He goes, it's the leadership of all the gunslinger guilds. Whoever's, it's different for each guild, but they attend the Convocation of Iron. I suppose I guess maybe your fellow Mr. Bailey hasn't talked much about this.
No, not really. I'm sorry. There's a Convocation of Iron. I'd love to hear about that. That sounds wild. What the heck's a Convocation of Iron?
I can't really tell you more than that. It's just once every
big meeting of gunslingers.
Once every handful of years, the cadres of all the guilds get together and you know, basically keep the peace.
Oh. Settle like gunslinger arguments, but not by shooting.
Well, there ain't no shooting. Well, there ain't no shooting amongst the gunslingers, but
yeah.
but yeah, something like that. It's I can't really speak more to it. It's something amongst the guilds, but there's dozens of guilds throughout Manifest, and in the interest of keeping anyone from stepping on anyone's toes, they meet from time to time, and the cadre make sure to smooth any disagreements they might have out.
Oh, dang! Well, that's super cool.
Yeah, I suppose it doesn't catch me by surprise that a warden would be a little more tight-lipped about those kinds of things. They tend to be a little more reclusive and quiet than the others.
Honestly, we met a whole bunch of wardens, and like some are quiet, and like some are certainly not quiet. And I'd put Dex on like the quieter side, like a scale of 1 to 10. Dex is like 2 or 3 in terms of quiet. 4 maybe. I don't know about gunslinger stuff. I mean, he talks to us, but I you know, there's lots of stuff we don't know. Yeah, he didn't.
But we did
much.
meet the cadre of the Silent Peak, I believe.
Oh.
Tommy, help me out. Was it Monaghan?
No, Monaghan's just a gunslinger, a warden.
Boskirts.
Boskirts was
Boskert, that's
yeah.
right. That's right.
Aiden
love his name.
Boskert is a cadre of the Wardens.
And he was the only one for the Wardens, right?
That you know of.
I thought that we knew that the I thought we knew there was only one, but I guess he was probably the only one that was there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we did a nice fellow, little bit intense, but I mean that matches up with most of the gunslingers I know.
You'll find the more you interact with gunslingers, the more comfortable you get with that kind of level of seriousness.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Is there? I've got just a couple of questions as we're walking through. Is there a library that you might have accessible to visitors? I know that of course there's a secret library that none of us are going to be able to look at or touch or even mention. Sorry about that. But is there something that is like a public history?
No. If you're wanting anything like that, you'll need to. I mean, I understand you're going to be dining with Morgan and Vance. I mean, the scribes would be the ones you want to speak to on that, but the archives are sealed for Legionnaire purposes only.
Well,
That's
y'all
fair
got
enough.
y'all
Fair
got
enough.
like a gym?
I mean, we have some facilities for training and exercise.
Yeah, no, the exercise. Perfect.
They tend to be for. My understanding is it's in a part of the castle that you ain't necessarily allowed to venture at this time.
There might be something we can bring up with. I keep wanting to call her Sister Morgan, because of season 10 of Essential NPCs, of Cadra Morgan, maybe during dinner we can mention it to her.
Yeah, I ain't trying to be no gunslinger, but I'd love to work out.
Sure.
I could have some weights brought to your room if that suits you.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, look, some weights is better than no weights.
All right, I'll see to it.
Thank you. So anyway, this gunslinger fought 6 dudes at once.
He held the line while the others made their way to take out a truly evil man, and he goes on to like tell you like the story.
Those guns only have like 6 bullets. That's got to be 6 incredible shots.
Well, you've seen Dex reload his gun. It's almost magic.
Yeah, I guess so. Dang.
Yeah, he tells you the story of a gunslinger who held the line against reportedly a battalion of San Cordero militia that had been turned corrupt, and he like basically held off like 80 soldiers by himself while everyone else like escaped and wrapped around to like cut off the convoy.
Amazing.
+1 grit to Porter from Laura the Bard.
Laura,
Hey,
thank
happy
you.
birthday, Laura.
Happy birthday, Laura, and also happy 40th birthday to Alicia Keys.
Oh.
Big 4-0.
Also a big fan of the stream.
That's right. Yeah.
Shout out to you, Alicia.
Thank you, Alicia.
Thanks, Alicia. We love you. Wait, why didn't we ask Alicia to write our theme? What's wrong with this?
Alicia is actually Carnaxis.
Okay. So, Dex and Eloise. Ruben leads you through the castle towards like kind of a part that attaches to a more level part like of the canyon. And you actually venture outside. So, you know, he grabs like basically like a large umbrella for himself as he leads you out.
There's something deeply funny about anyone in a gunslinger guild having an umbrella.
Yeah. It's right there by the back. He just pulls it out. He's like, it's really coming down out there. And then he walks out. He guides you around to basically a nearby like it's like just barely not adjacent kind of like stone shed. And it's pretty beaten and torn. And he unlocks it with some of his keys. And moves the gate open, and you walk into this kind of it's mostly like a storage shed, but the main thing it houses does seem to be the generator, which Eloise, if you want to try and assess this generator and fully like determine like what needs to be replaced and all that, like basically do a full on like you know, not strip of this thing, but like figure out everything that needs to be fixed because it's like completely dead. You do like the basic checks and you're like, oh, this thing is fucked. It's gonna be a technology roll at a -10. It is an extremely good generator. It's not like very pretty to look at, but you put this almost on the same level as like LRC technology as far as its sophistication goes. Like this is like a near perfect like generator that can like power this entire castle, probably with very, very little actual maintenance. Like the only other times you've seen generators like of this quality and like basically sophistication is like Ion Harbor and like other factory towns you've been to, like the factories there and stuff like that. Like this is factory level technology.
Okay. Does this fall under any of the three categories of like crafting or like weapons, armor?
I'll let Gadgeteer.
Vehicles,
you have Gadgeteer, right?
specialty items. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you can use your Gadgeteer talent here to get a bonus.
Okay. Golly, that's still only, I'm not rolling for very high. You know, when I had to figure out what was wrong with the LRC tower, it's like -6. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. That is 3 very solid hits.
Okay, 3 successes.
A 2, a 5, and a 4.
Okay. So you can tell after it takes you a while, actually. And Ruben is happy to wait. I assume Dex is also happy to wait or even help on occasion.
Yeah, I'll hand you stuff and hold things.
Yeah. As you do like a thorough like assessment. Dex, this is very similar to one of the first times, like one of your first days with Eloise, all the way back in Las Viudas when she like had to put together the LRC tower. You look at this thing and it is a space like, you know, sci-fi insane.
That seems important.
Yeah, like you couldn't even begin to comprehend how this thing does what it does. And Eloise, it's like you watch her just like with extreme comfort and ease, like remove like glowing and humming components that like still have power to them, but are like not the part that is powering the generator. Like you see, like as she like disables like, you know, switches and stuff to like safely remove parts and get more into this generator and look at like more like fine parts and everything. Like this thing is intense, and Eloise seems extremely comfortable moving through it.
Well, obviously the cables are transporting something.
Yeah, well, the thing is that it, like all of this stuff is highly volatile. So like if any of it goes wrong, we're just there's no reason to be careful because if I move it at all and it's broken enough, it'll just explode. So like we're fine.
And you're not worried that that's gonna happen, right? Says Ruben from like the door.
Oh, the chance of that happening is very slim.
Based on my understanding, like what she's trying to say is there's not a safe distance.
Correct.
Ruben looks slightly uncomfortable, but like you're a warden and you vouch for this person, and like she's wearing like extremely sophisticated power armor and has like a very nice omni tool. So Ruben is like able to understand that like there's no reason why you guys would just blow up the the Legionnaire Hall. But like also is like, well, I'm next to a possible explosion. That makes me uncomfortable.
Do I get the sense is Ruben I don't know. I guess it would be like just trying to read the stewards I've seen walking around. Are the stewards here people who have chosen to not be legionnaires, or do I get the sense that they are like stewards as part of their training to become legionnaires?
You can go ahead and roll a discipline check to try and like read stewards like combat potency, basically. Or not stewards. He's a steward. His name is Ruben.
Yeah, it's less combat potency and more like goals.
Mm-hmm. You are up against a 9.
I have a 10 and a 14.
Okay. Ruben and actually all the stewards carry themselves in a way that betrays to you gunslinger training. As far as like pure intention goes, you're not 100% sure. Based on Ruben's like current nervousness about the situation, you imagine he probably hasn't seen a lot of action. You definitely don't mark him as somebody who was a full gunslinger and then decided to become a steward.
Sure.
As far as like whether or not being a steward is part of the step to becoming a gunslinger for Legionnaires, that's beyond anything you'd be able to tell. But at the very least, you know that steward, while he has received gunslinger training, has never been a gunslinger.
Okay, so he's gotten the beginnings of like, here is how you handle a firearm extremely competently.
Yeah.
But he probably didn't get to the course on like, okay, they're gonna say a thing that really gets under your skin and you have to shoot well still.
Yeah. Eloise, on 3 successes on your technology roll, you are also able to tell that to repair this generator, you would basically have to roll as if you were crafting a class 3 item to basically craft the replacement parts. And it would require you 18 tech cubes and a fuel cube to just with like out having to go and get things to craft the components of this generator that you would need to replace it or to get it operating again.
Okay. Well, I have the fuel cube. Right. No, okay. So I think that unfortunately I don't have this short of taking apart my armor, I don't have the cubes I need to bring this back online.
Yeah.
I have the capability. I know how, but I'm about 80% short on the supplies that I need.
The other thing that you get with your 3rd success is you can't tell what went wrong with this generator. There's no clear sign of fault. There's just a couple components that aren't operating, but you can't actually tell. Like, you can tell what's wrong with them. You can't tell what chain of events led to the malfunction.
Can I?
Which like is a little surprising. He said the storm knocked it out, and like you would think that like you're not 100% sure like power could have been surged in a lot of different ways, but like the damage like that is sustained doesn't necessarily indicate like that it's been tampered with. It could be faulty parts. But like either they were faulty parts or something happened that wasn't just like a strike of lightning, or the lightning struck in a way that was really strange. Like you're not able to piece together how these specific components all went offline at the same time.
I honestly think Eloise and Dex maybe have the same idea at the same moment.
I as Addie have a big brain moment, and I'm wondering if I could roll like lore or like mentalist or something to see if I could maybe find an external cause or reason why it would be beneficial to have this go offline.
Does Eloise explain that like what you've explained, Tommy? Like, does Eloise say like, I don't know why all of these things failed this way?
Sure, yeah. I mean, she's always talking for the most part. So, Yeah, well, the funny thing is that I don't actually see any mechanical reason that would have like sparked the cascade that would have led to the failure. Is this the thing that happens like often when it storms? Because like a rogue lightning strike is like unlikely, and then also like it would have had to been directly. And also these things don't have any scorch marks. There aren't any, it's not fried or anything. So is there like is this thing always kind of kicking about?
I mean, it's been about, I think, 20 to 30 years since we've had to service it, since it's gone out. And I do believe last time it went out, it was due to a storm of similar or larger magnitude than this one. But no, I mean, this thing pretty much self-sustains. Our smiths only have to, replace the fuel and occasionally do a tune-up here and there.
Max cuts Ruben off and says, "It's an awful lot of shadows at a castle operating on candlelight."
I don't take your meaning, sir.
We've met men who can become invisible in shadows, one of which is absolutely coming here.
Are you saying this thing was tampered with, young miss?
Um,
You honestly can't definitively say beyond
yeah,
like
there
you're.
is. It is as likely an explanation as rogue lightning or a weird leak from internal
Can
tremors.
you find out what's around here?
Uh, yeah.
We should be heading back to the castle, I think.
Okay.
Ruben follows your lead on that at Dex. He like looks around a little bit, steps back, opens the gate, lets you guys out, locks the gate behind you, and then rushes behind you to get into the castle.
Right. Eloise is like, she was like in her element, like tinkering with stuff, and she is like, like sort of shrunken, like a little bit, like sadder or something, smaller.
I think Dex stops in the rain at like seeing this. What's going on?
He just maybe he doesn't know they were here yet. Or maybe like maybe we could just like have this nice dinner and then like maybe he wants to hear what they have to say if they tell us anything. And then maybe we don't have to fight him right now. Maybe we can have maybe he'll I know that's why we're here. I don't know. I just thought maybe for a minute he wasn't here yet.
Maybe he's not. Maybe it's just weather. But if my primary method of interacting with the world was subterfuge and stealth, and my means to become invisible required darkness, this is what I would do.
No, I mean technically it is the most sound.
I don't expect Leo Riggs is interested in hearing what anyone here has to say and sticking around to change his mind about how he feels. I think if we wait, and he is here, and is waiting to hear what they have to say, he's going to leave and we'll never find him. Not until he wants us to. I'm sorry we didn't get to have a nice dinner in the castle. Maybe we still do.
Yep. Well, should probably light up a room right as we can. Before I look for him.
Okay.
Okay.
Reuben is waiting for you at the entrance to the castle. As you step in, he goes, so am I to understand there's potentially, you think someone has used this darkness to infiltrate the castle?
I think it's a distinct possibility.
All right. I'll go speak to Morgan and I'll set the stewards to double in the light sources. Is this I mean, by what you said, this is an illuminated individual?
Yes.
All right.
Very. In fact, I know y'all are gunslingers and you're very good at what you do, but he's actually not a bad shot himself. And then also he's very, very powerful as an as far as illuminated people go, probably one of the most powerful there is. So
the Legionnaires have dealt with a great many threats. I'm not diminishing what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, and we will take the appropriate precautions with that knowledge. Appreciate it. Do you need me to see you to your room? Otherwise, I can get the word to Morgan as quickly as possible.
I can find the way.
And he rushes off to go inform Kadra Branya of the fact that perhaps their warden friend thinks that that there might be someone sneaking about.
Dealt with illuminated threats, my ass.
Well, dealt with is like, fungible.
Yeah, I'll give him encountered.
We don't know. So we go to, I guess, whichever room Dex.
Yeah, I think we're headed towards the quarters, like keeping an eye out. I'm certainly keeping an eye out for Porter and Gus on the way there.
Let's see.
Do we know that they left? I don't think I knew that they left.
I guess we don't know that they left, but like
he's keeping an eye out in general, right?
Yeah, I don't think it is unreasonable to believe, knowing the two of them, that they immediately were like, let's go somewhere else.
Also, you think there's someone in the shadows, you're looking around no matter what. So we'll just see if you get lucky and pass by a hall where Porter and Gus are.
Very much like Porter and Gus they were like, don't look around. It's fine. You're fine. And they were like, we should look around.
Porter and Gus get up to hijinks? We would never.
You do get lucky. You do spot Porter and Gus with Hunter O'Connor in one of the main halls that connects like everything together. You two see Dex and Eloise probably with like her light of her Omni tool like guiding the way. Come around the bend, and you two see Porter and Gus holding candelabras, led by Hunter with like a wall like torch, who turns and sees you and gives you a slight wave and goes like, howdy, just showing them around.
I need to borrow them.
All right, no luck with the generator then.
No.
All right, well, if you need me, you know how to summon me. And he gives a nod to Porter and Gus, and then moves on his way.
What's happening?
Yeah, what's up, y'all?
It's not certain,
I
but
don't feel very good. We should not be. Maybe it's catching.
The not feeling good.
You're
Yeah.
sick?
It's
Yes.
Oh. Well, let me take a look at you. Come
From
here.
no, I need to
Lorraine?
lay
stop
down
asking
in
questions
my
and follow us,
brain.
please.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
cool. You all return what to one of your 5
Yeah, we
quarters?
go to one of our rooms.
Yeah.
And I grab like 2 or 3 torches along the way.
Sure.
And, like light a fire in the conjoining fireplace.
Yeah, and then set the lit torches around the room so there's as few shadows as possible.
It is an extremely well lit room now.
Yeah.
Because in order to be hidden in the shadows have to be person sized, right?
Yeah. You have to remain covered in shadows. I mean, I guess you don't. That's just a rule question. I don't think Gus might not know this because Gus doesn't have the power. But
No,
but yeah.
that was Roman asking a rule question.
yeah. That is
I
the
don't-
answer
I
to the
don't
rule
take
question.
Non-somatic powers. Oh, wait, is it a somatic
It's a somatic power.
It's a somatic power.
It's not a somatic power to Gus.
It's not a punching
It's not a
power.
punch.
Don't help me punch. It's
It
useless.
doesn't get you closer to punch. It doesn't let you punch harder. It doesn't let you punch further.
Yeah, so you now have a pretty well lit room. There's not very many shadows in this room. Like under the bed, maybe.
Listen, if Leo Riggs is hiding under the fucking bed, he is stuck there now until we leave this room, and that's great.
You wave a torch
And
around.
and we'll know, immediately, maybe if he doesn't. Okay. Well,
Yeah, so once we light up the room and close the door, Eloise took a look at the generator, couldn't discern what put it out. Got me thinking that this castle operating on torchlight is mostly shadows. The one thing we know about Leo Riggs is he prefers to operate in them.
So, do you think it could have been him then?
I think it's possible and worth taking precaution against.
If there's any percentage of a chance, we should treat it like it's likely, just knowing him. What doesn't need to be fixed?
I think I need I think I need probably about 14 more tech cubes, or I guess maybe I could make like if I could get like 34 machinery cubes, I could also probably put it together.
Well, I've got what 3 or 4 machinery cubes, but I've got 11 tech cubes.
We got the
There's something we
canoes.
break down.
Oh no. How many tech cubes do you actually have?
11.
11. Okay, and how many machinery cubes do you have?
3 machinery cubes.
Okay, so that's 1 tech cube. So that makes it we only have
Fine.
15.
15 total. So we
Yeah.
need 2 more,
3.
3 more.
3 more.
But yeah, wait. Could we just use a canoe?
A canoe would get us 1 tech cube, which is not enough.
Well, if you can actually build the parts, Legionnaires might have the supplies. I assume their people went out for the parts.
Yeah, it would also it would take me a decent amount of time. Like even me, I think it would probably be maybe like a day.
Right. I guess if Leo Riggs is going to strike, he'd do it as quickly as possible to keep us
I mean,
off guard.
if he is here and I was putting together the generator, which is like a thing that would be working directly against him, I imagine he would come visit.
And I think we find out if he's here. And if he's not, we ask them about what they've got so you can fix their generator.
Right.
What do you say, Al?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I mean I could look for him.
Yeah, plus if we fix their generator and we brought back the guns, maybe they'll let me in the gym.
Always got your priorities on straight, don't you, Gus?
I want to know what's in the secret gym.
Whose room are you guys in, by the way?
Probably Gus's.
Whichever one is probably most defensible is the one that Dex tactically assessed and
There. Okay, so that means
With the most natural light.
well, none of them really have any natural light.
There's no windows.
You're kind of central.
Are these internal?
Yeah,
internal
you're like in a central hallway. We'll say it's Eloise's room.
Okay. That's fine. What is my tier 2? It's blood tithe, right? It is.
So what are you guys doing?
I am detecting life.
Okay.
And it's I guess I don't know how much it's trying to expend.
Well, you do because the amount is the range of your power, right?
Right.
And
I'm asking you as a GM.
Yeah, because you're trying to get, I assume, the whole castle in. Let's go ahead and say we'll count it as so it'll be, if you do moderate, there might be small areas of the castle, like there's, that there's some external structures like on the other side of the canyon, for instance. There's a couple structures on the other side of that bridge. You're like thinking that moderate might reach about the docks based on where you are, but you're not 100% sure. So moderate gets probably like 98% of this castle, definitely like all of the main structure. If you do it at long, then 100% that you have every external structure and the like neighboring tree lines like very covered.
There's no version that the roll happens and he knows that you know that he's here.
It can be resisted.
It can be resisted, and if I misfire, he gets to know where I am exactly and that I am looking for him.
That's then should we be ready to run straight to the cadre?
I mean, if he I don't even know what he can do. It could be I reach out and that's it. So
okay. Not to put you in the wrong headspace or anything. You're doing great.
It's fine. No, it's okay. Okay, so you said 6 or did you say 8? I'm so sorry.
Moderate gets basically everything, but does leave a slight uncertainty on the fringes. Long makes it so beyond a shadow of a doubt that like anywhere where he could reasonably be skulking at all, like basically like if you want to like, I don't know, like if you think he might have like evacuated the central area of the castle to one of those external areas, then you would want to do long. If you're just trying to get the actual central body of the castle, like the actual like structure itself, then moderate will cover you.
Okay. I will. God. I don't think I tell anybody that I'm going to do this. I don't even think I know I'm doing this. But I will do the moderate.
Okay.
And I will spend only hit points to do so.
You have blood tithe, the talent, don't you?
Yeah.
Which means you're getting bonuses for every hit point you spend.
I have a 12 in mentalist, so it will now be an 18.
Nice. Basically. All right.
I mean, 17 because that's a cap, but I was like, you're going to give me a bamboozle or something. So
Yeah.
You should. Can you counter boozle?
We don't
Or
know.
even preemptive boozle?
we don't know. We don't even know if he's resistant yet. So, right. Because
Yeah.
if he's not,
I mean,
in the
bamboozles
area,
have to happen before dice are rolled.
Right.
I will go ahead and bamboozle you. I will bamboozle you 4 times.
Counter boozle. Counter boozle.
which
Counter
brings me
boozle.
to a 14. It's totally reasonable to think that he has a +2. So I will spend I will spend 3. This a 3 bamboozle.
Okay.
A 3 boozle.
Cool.
Okay.
It's a quad booze and a trip booze on the board.
That cracks.
Go ahead and roll your mentalist. I'm going to roll dice, and part of that is because you're going to hear me rolling dice. I'm going to roll them a bunch because there are a lot of people in this castle. None of them want to be detected by a detect life power. So everyone is attempting to resist you. Everyone in this castle is attempting to resist you, except for your 3 friends. I'm not going to roll for literally everyone, but I am going to roll for a significant amount of people. And I just need to know what your highest is.
Okay. I'm nervous. Can you play to the gallery through a bamboozle?
Yeah, you just can't use go at strong.
Yeah, okay, cool. Then I have I spend 2 grit. And I have a 15. So I'm at 3 grit.
Okay. So there's, I guess, just tell me all of your successes, because there's a lot of people resisting you, so you have varying degrees of information on different people.
It's actually really funny because I have like a very wide range. So I have a 15. I have an 11. Oh wait, I get to roll one more because
the 15 will explode.
The 15 explodes.
Yep.
Okay. That's even funnier. Okay, so I have an 11.
You have a 15 and 11.
A 9, a 7, and a 5.
Okay.
Which I think is really fun. It tickles me. Okay.
So you do get like a general list of life forms. There's a lot of people in this castle. There's about somewhere in the range of 30 to 40 people in this castle right now. And you don't get anyone's names.
Does that change if I twist the knife?
It might.
Oh God. Sure. I'll do it. This is such a bet he's not gonna even be here.
How many times
it's a hyper efficient twist the knife.
just I only have enough grit for 1. So
I'm sure because of all the grit I gave you.
Yeah, I now am at
You have the 4 that I gave you at the beginning of this test.
Right, which I can't spend yet.
Correct.
So,
yeah.
So yeah, I only have currently 1 left after this 1 twist the knife. So
Okay, so you're going to be at 5 grit at the end of this?
Yeah.
Okay. So you do get some names then. You also get some people whose names you don't get. There's some people whose names you don't get. Notably for you, at least, you don't get Morgan or Vance's names. You do get Ruben's name though. as well as Tamla and Hunter. You also see a bunch of other names that you didn't have before. You see Antonia Donalda. You heard the name Donalda earlier. She is housed in a kind of lower, more internally structured part of the castle, like a much more probably deep inside the castle based on the range and everything. You get a few other names, which I guess I can just tell you when they come up. None of them are names that you recognize, so I'll be like, this is a name that you got.
Right.
The people whose names you got, you will be able to track their movement for, where's the thing I want? Oh Lord. You will be able to track their movement for a long-lasting effect. The people whose names you didn't get, you will be able to still track their movement as a short-lived effect. Out of the, we'll say 38 people that are in this castle right now, you get the names of 14 of them. You get the names of half, or less than half. So you have 24 people who you are able to sense the location of as a short-lived effect, but you do not have their names. Or sorry, I guess some of those 14 people you do have long-lasting effect on. We'll say out of the remaining 24, 6 of them are people who you will be able to track as a long-lasting effect. So that means there's 18 names that you will, or 18 nameless life forms that you detect inside this castle moving around, whose names you don't have, and you will only be able to track them for a handful of minutes. You have 6 people who you'll be able to track for a handful of hours that you don't have the names of. And then you have a remaining 14 people whose names you do have, who you can track for a handful of hours.
May I ask you some questions about these people?
Absolutely.
Okay. Of these people, of the 24 people I do not have names of, how many are not on the public access floors?
A significant amount, actually.
And how many are currently, of those people who are not on the public access floors, how many of them are alone?
Okay, so there's 18 people who are not on the public access floors whose names you don't have.
Okay.
There's a mix within there of people who you're gonna drop off at a short-lived effect and people that you're gonna drop off, or that you have for a long-lasting effect.
I'm going to, yeah, okay.
Of those 18 people, 7 of them are alone.
Where are they?
Varying parts of the castle. You don't know the full layout of the castle. They are not part of the main general access. They are alone. There's a few that are in the direction of Donalda. There are a couple that are not too far from Reuben. I mean, they're kind of scattered. It is really a kind of a shotgun of them that are alone around you. Of those 7. And of those 7, 3 of them are people that you're going to only be able to track for a handful of minutes.
Okay, those are the ones I care about. Where are they?
There is one, I mean, again, none of them are in this main access floor.
Sorry, I'm not asking they're in the library. I'm asking from me right now, the information that I do get is their direction from me. So and their distance basically. So what I'm asking is for those 3 people who I'm going to lose, which presumably, if I got Leo Riggs at all, it would be one of those people. Where are they? Are they above me or below me?
So the thing is, you actually, yeah, they are above and below you. You don't know how far away they are from you. Only the people whose names you got are actually people who you know exactly how far they are from you.
Cool. I spit up a whole bunch of blood and
Yeah, what does it look like when
Jeez.
you blood tithe your way into
yeah, it's not like normal.
how many hit points do you have?
I now am at half hit points.
Cool.
I have 6 hit points left.
Yeah,
no,
describe what it looks like when Eloise does this.
So normally when Eloise overextends, she gets all like toasty, like her skin gets dried out and it glows and stuff like that. This is like, it has the appearance of like a normal, like with the detect laugh, I usually sort of do a little like sit and hover thing, and then like, so I do that. But I think because I'm just like a bundle of nerves and like I don't know that I what's gonna happen, and I have maybe a little bit of trauma that I'm not dealing with. That I think it's literally I pull on like my insides where that knot is, that anxiety knot, like right under my like ribs and like my lungs and my like basically my diaphragm, and I just it literally just is like like throwing up like blood, like the light like fades really quickly, and it's just like and it's like I fall to the ground and like on my hands and knees, just sort of like retch for a second or 5.
Elle, oh my God, Elle, are you okay? Are you okay? Here,
Elle.
No, I'm fine. I mean, I'm
No.
not fine.
I can tell.
No, I didn't I didn't find him. I looked really hard. I
think-
didn't find him. I tried. He could be like one of like 8 people, but like I don't know where they are or how far they are, or
Okay.
like it's just there's like 7 or 8 people that are alone and they're like in all crazy directions, and I didn't get their names, and I'm only gonna have a hold on them for like a
Eloise?
minute or two.
Do you know how many people are in the castle?
38.
Presumably, Morgan knows how many people are in the castle too.
But I didn't find him.
We'll know if he's here or if somebody's here that isn't supposed
Yeah.
to.
Do you think-
I can say with some confidence you obviously did the most that you could. And I think as Gus says what he is saying, a little like thing pops out from my med kit, and it's like a shot-sized vial that also fills up with liquid, and Porter gives that to her.
Are you doing a med kit or are you giving me some bad luck again?
I'm giving you some bad luck. Well, we can
No!
med kit if you prefer.
What?
Medkit is more efficient.
Please give me
That's
the
fair.
med kit.
Then I do the same thing, but it's that's just flavor for a med kit.
Yeah. You have to use up a first aid cube, and then you automatically heal 3, and then because you have field medic, I believe every success you get heals 2 more hit points. Which, like, I guess it's more efficient in the sense of it doesn't seem like you guys are going to sprint out and try to fan out across the castle or anything like that. To try and chase after like these people whose names you don't have, because that would be, you would want to take a tonic to not waste any time dealing medical attention. But
So if oh thank you. I guess we could go tell them. We should go tell them.
Wait, Elle. I don't know. I mean, you know your stuff better than I do. But do you think he still has that mask?
No, they found it. It burned up.
That's right. Well, like if we knew something else he had, remember you were telling me you had to look for the guns or whatever?
Yeah.
Is there something we know he's got?
He has those glasses.
Yeah. Can we look for those?
Am I misremembering? I sort of remember he left the glasses after he got juiced up.
I don't remember.
Is that not the case?
I don't remember.
He didn't. So he wasn't wearing the glasses. Basically, the thing you're remembering is specifically I said that his eyes. Oh no, he was wearing the glasses. You could see them glowing through the glasses.
Okay.
Or what about, doesn't he have the like, I don't know, the computer stuff from the evidence?
That could look like anything now.
Okay.
I mean, like, I could look for if he's.
No, I mean you know your stuff.
I think maybe we can see how many people are supposed to be here.
Yeah, let's find out.
And
Let's
then
find out if he's in here.
Yeah.
You did real good. You you figured out with the generator, and then you figured out the number of people. You're doing real good. But why'd you have to use so much blood to do it? We don't have to use blood. Have you not been sleeping?
I didn't mean to. I did sort of mean to. I
ain't never accidentally used no blood.
Yeah, there is this kind of feeling, Eloise, where your physical body hurts a lot right now because you just decimated it to use that power. That was the cleanest use of luminescence you've ever felt. Like you felt so much more in control of your power at that particular moment, which is part of the reason why you did it on accident, because you were so determined to like wield it with absolute precision that like even though like after it was done, like your body aches and burns and hurts, you've never felt that powerful before.
Yeah. I think I just really wanted it to work is the thing. Like I just really wanted it. I just really wanted I just wanted to know.
Yeah, I mean he's strong, and then he did the stuff. He did the illuminated stuff that makes him super illuminated. That even how sometimes people call him cheating powers. Well, he's got cheating powers.
I've never heard that expression.
You ain't never heard that?
I don't. That doesn't. I thought for a moment that I had enough that I could maybe do it, but I couldn't. So it's okay. I just wasn't lucky enough and strong enough. Which
you got the number of folks?
I think we should just go. I don't have a hold on people for a long time, so I think
the people who you had a short-lived effect on, you lose.
I convert my Omni tool into a lantern.
Porter, you were rolling first aid. How'd you do?
5 successes.
5? Okay. Eloise, you're full hit points.
Wonderful. How many more times can you do that?
I've got two more. I've got 2 more cubes. So.
For the folks at home, Porter just healed 13 hit points.
Right, that is more than I have.
Dice lovely today. Hello, Dice. You're lovely.
Yeah, I think if like Eloise looks patched up and Porter's like says he's finished, we should go. We should speak to Morgan.
Yep. Yeah. Makes sense.
Cool. So you guys enter the main hall. You're like heading back towards like the central area. You don't know where to find Morgan from. That's not information Eloise had. But you make your way kind of towards like the areas of the castle, you know. Quickly you do see like Tamala like off to the side, so if you wanted to like summon her to ask her questions, you could. Otherwise, you do see other stewards. They do seem to be like lighting additional like candles and like setting up additional like sconces to try and increase the light output around. This place is huge and it's not going extremely swiftly or well as far as like eliminating all shadows, but it is reducing the amount of shadows, at least, is what you're able to see as you see about like a dozen stewards getting to work just in the areas that you go. Tamala's the only familiar face you see.
Yeah, I'll flag her down.
Yeah, she immediately like makes herself available to you, and she goes, "I understand. There's a little bit of a concern.
We need to speak with Morgan immediately."
Of course, right this way. On her way, she leads you kind of into another part of the castle you haven't been. And on her way, Ruben does join you. Takes you basically. He goes like he basically asks Tamala what's going on. I'm taking him to see Kadra Branya, and he goes, I'll take it from here. And Tamala splits off, and you're walking with Ruben now. And he goes, I have the stewards underway. No one's seen anything suspicious up until now. As you guys like fast walk through.
Yeah. It's a full West Wing fast walk.
Yeah. You have to stop every once in a while as he actually unlocks a couple doors.
Yeah. The dialogue is just snappy as hell, flying left and right.
Do you know how many people are in the castle right now?
At this exact moment?
Yes.
37.
That's a problem.
That's a problem. Care to enlighten me?
Eloise found 38.
Found. Yeah, and he looks. He sees like even with Porter's like assistance, like her eyes are still a little bloodshot. He sees like the marks of like some overextension and stuff, and he goes, "Understood." So you're thinking this Riggs character,
someone who's not supposed to be here, is in your castle right now.
Okay, well then, let's go. Branya, Morgan's waiting this way. She won't begrudge the interruption. And he goes and he knocks on the chamber door, and there's no response. He goes, Branya, Morgan, we have a situation.
I open the door.
It's locked, but like he goes and like as soon as you do it, he like nods and like goes, and you open the door, and you see Kadra Branya dead.
God!
On the ground.
Come on!
Wait, that literally just happened.
Porter, I think the game's afoot. Gus doesn't say that.
I can't take grit away from you. But yeah, so he opens up to Kadra Branya's chambers. It is large, dark. Every single light is out. The only light is from your whatever sources you have coming through the door. You see her dead nearby the bed. Her guns not drawn.
Whoa. Yeah, I mean, that's the only way that could happen.
And that's where we're going to take a break.
Woof. Come on, man.
We'll be right back, guys. Going to take about a 15-minute break. So I got 10:37 on the clock. So we'll see you guys somewhere around the 10:52 Central Time mark. And we'll play a little bit more, and then we'll move on to Q&A. See you guys in a little bit. Murder mystery in the Guild Hall of Astoria.
It's not a mystery.
Murder mystery.
I think it was.
Hello, we are back. Those of you who might just be joining us or who missed the beginning, our drifters arrived at the guild hall of the Legionnaires of Astoria, a gunslinger guild hall in the Heartwood Forest, a castle built into the side of a canyon over the Flagstone River. They met Morgan Branya, the cadre of the Legionnaires, Vance Branya, the senior scribe of the Legionnaires, Reuben Richards, the senior steward of the Legionnaires, and then a few lesser stewards, and I think that's actually all you've really met along the way. But
Do you want to? Is there maybe an event or a detail you want to include in this recap at some point?
it looked like you were about to like remind me of a person you forgot. I was like, that's all of them, right? Okay, so upon arriving at the Legionnaires Hall, they returned Alistair Caldwell's guns, and then were invited to a dinner with Morgan and Vance, where they could basically share the information they had on Leo Riggs and his hunt for Owen Lemaire and all of that, everything they encountered in Brimstone, basically. During that time, Eloise got a look at the generator of the Legionnaires Hall, which was not operating, had gone dead during the storm a couple days ago. When she took it apart and looked at it, she couldn't discern any particular reason why the malfunction would happen. And that basically put Dex's spider senses off, and Dex said, hey, we know that Leo Riggs likes to literally hide within shadows using his luminescent power. There's a lot of shadows inside this castle because they can only be candlelit right now. I'm a little concerned about that. So they went back, they lit up a room all the way, and then Eloise overextended to an extreme amount to use her luminescent ability to detect the life around the guild hall. And when she did that, she detected one more person than was supposed to be in the guild hall. She didn't detect Leo Riggs's name, but she counted 38 individuals. And when they asked Reuben how many individuals there were supposed to be in the castle right now, he said 37. So they rushed to Morgan Branya to tell her about what was going on. There was no response on the other side of her chamber door, which Reuben opened up quickly and swiftly with one of his keys. And there they found her room completely without light and with her dead body on the ground, her guns still in their holsters. And that's where we took a break. Reuben shouts out and rushes over to the body, and like turns her over. There's no discernible, like she doesn't have like a gunshot or like a slit throat or anything like that. She's just dead. He like grabs her, shouts her name a couple times and like stands up and like turns to the four of you, at a slight loss. And he goes, we need to let Vance know. We need to let everyone know. This is, I mean,
Dex is like moving around the room, lighting any. I assume her room is large enough to have like wall sconces to light.
Yep.
Dex is moving around, lighting them. Is there any other way out of this room besides that door?
He gestures to the fireplace.
Dex, like with his torch, looks up the fireplace.
Yeah,
like lights it up.
Yeah, you're able to light it up and look and wrap around. You don't spot anything. There's no like movement or anything like that.
There's footprints in the soot.
I mean, I guess let's go ahead and roll a perception test. I will.
Your Shadowrun is showing.
Sorry, no, an observe test. Let's go ahead and roll. You can roll an observe at a -4.
How much of that is because it's dark? Because I do own night vision goggles.
You said you were lighting things up, so none of it is because of that.
Is it easy to tell? Does she look anything like I forget the guy who there was Owen?
You're talking about the soldier that Owen like destroyed the bones of. Her bones seem to be intact.
Okay, it doesn't look okay.
That was a truly horrific thing that you will never forget. This body does not resemble that.
Great. It's a great statement.
I have an 8.
Okay. You don't see any markings of passage or anything that like immediately like gives you a trail to follow or anything like that. You see everything seems as it should be.
Okay.
Ruben like is like standing by the door. He looks to you, Dex, and he goes, "You're gonna secure this room in this hall. I need to go tell Vance and the other gunslingers."
Yeah, go.
The Great Hall is, and he gives you directions like down across this way through this chamber. We're gonna meet there. We'll light it up.
Of course.
And he rushes out of the room, leaving the four of you with Morgan's body.
So he's making his move now. If this just happened, he is counting on this body to be found. So what would his next move be?
He wants information.
Would that be in a library?
It would be Vance.
Be Vance. Oh.
You guys did also hear about the archives. You don't know where they are or anything, but you know that there are archives. And Dex, you would also know that.
I mean, I know that there's archives,
yeah.
but also if I'm going to a library that I've never been to looking for information about a guy that they probably don't want to talk about, I would talk to the librarian first.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
I will do whatever I have to quickly like make sure there's nothing else in this room of note, right? But like I think if it seems like this room is clear and there's nothing to find here, Dex will unhook her belt with the guns on it and like wrap it around his chest so he can take them to a Legionnaire, because I'm not gonna leave them.
How many successes did you get total? 2?
3.
3? Okay. What's everyone else doing?
Sorry.
Can I would like to use a power I have never used on before.
You're using a power? What power?
Final moment.
Oh.
You have final moment?
I
This
have,
whole time?
No, it's the most recent one that I got.
Oh my god.
No, I have not had it this whole time. I was running out of mentalist abilities to take.
Beautiful. Okay. So you kneel down and touch Morgan's corpse, and you spend 5 shine? Or 5 focus? Shine? Shine. I remember all the words in my game.
I do. I have plenty of shine left because
you only used hit points last time.
I only used hit points. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So roll that power up. Porter and Gus, what are the two of you doing? While Dex is kind of like looking around and like surveying the rest of the room with a more broad intention.
There would be. Oh no, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna ask. Mechanically, hallucinations is probably a short-lived effect. Is that literally just I start seeing things that aren't there?
Yeah, pretty much. You don't know what is real and what isn't. I basically get to tell you things that you see, and you can't tell whether or not they're real. You can specifically like spend like action economy to try and discern reality from what you see at a negative. But like, yeah, basically there's a chance you see stuff that you can't see.
Does that happen before? Does that happen as soon as I take it?
It happens when your positive effects end, which if it's a healing tonic is instant, but if it's like a bonus to like skills or attributes, those technically last longer.
It's a +1 finesse tonic.
Okay.
Knowing that I won't take it yet.
Okay.
So I guess I'd like to assist Dex in any way that I can. Does it help him if I use? No, he's not. You're not rolling.
I already rolled.
He already rolled. I'm letting his previous roll. He was looking specifically for like signs of passage, but I'm letting that would have been an opposed roll, and I'm letting him now use his 3 just unopposed successes to like survey the whole like space.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can discern if anything specific is missing, like if there's a key to get in the archives or like anything that would have helped him get the information that he needs. If there's a space where something should be, I'd like to.
Sure. Go ahead. I'll let. Here's what I'll do. Roll observe at a +3. Dex will be basically assisting you because he's basically already like scouring the room. And now you are looking with a more deliberate intent. So go ahead and roll. I'll give you. Yeah, you just have a +3 from Dex. Gus, anything from you?
There would be no benefit to see someone walking in shadow. He's straight up invisible in shadows, and the night vision power would not help me.
The night. That would give you better negatives, but not against him being part of the shadows. Basically, the way it would map out is you would roll with whatever benefits you would get, but you would still have the negatives from his power. So I guess in a way it does help you because it helps you see through shadows better. But like if you
Also,
want to
you could
activate
just
your
have
night
my-
night vision gives you bonuses to see in the dark or something, right? Like what does it give you?
Yeah. Ignore low light penalties and see in pitch black situations as if it were daytime.
I mean, so that will help at all to allow you to avoid extra negatives if you were in a pitch black room or something like that. Beyond that, like if you're looking at a shadow in the corner of the room, you still have the negatives to discern him from that shadow. Is the mechanical way that the shadow cloak power would work.
Also, I do have night vision goggles. I'm currently not using, so you could take that instead and save your shine if you like.
yeah, just for some reason it feels silly to wear night vision goggles just like inside for some reason, but the power feels less silly. I mean, it sounds like neither really help in this situation.
I mean, they can't in the exact situation you're in right now, which is a room that is lit up by torchlight. It won't help you discern if that shadow contains a person any better than you just rolling an observe test. But if you were to enter a part of the castle that was darker than normal, then there would be additional negatives on top of the shadow cloak because it would also be dark, which your night vision power would eliminate. Right? Like so, like. This room was completely dark before, so so like if all the torches all of a sudden went out or something, then everyone would be rolling at extreme negatives because they would be in pitch black, but you would still be able to see.
All right. No, I mean, I'll just roll it. Why not? Well, that's why not.
Did you risk fire?
It's half your pool rounded down. So it's 2 dice on 5?
Yep.
God. But if I re-roll, if I re-roll into a 20, that's fine.
That's fine.
Great. All right. Yeah. I mean, I misfire. I only get 1 success. Wow.
Ooh, that's such a bad roll for you.
I rolled two 17s, 2 20s, and a 10.
Ouch. Okay. So you do get a success, so you will have the effect of night vision as a short-lived effect.
Mm-hmm.
As far as your misfire goes, spend 1 extra focus or 1 extra shine. Spend 1 extra shine. That because it wasn't a grave misfire, so I'm not gonna give you the effects of migraine where light hurts your eyes or anything like that. I'm just gonna make it a little more costly.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, so Gus, you're like red, like fire, like orange red fire, like kind of like into the pupil of your eyes, and then fades slightly, just lingering slightly around the outsides of your pupils. And like the parts of this room that are shadowy, basically kind of become clearer to you as like the light from the fire extends into them deeper for you. And you look around, you see no sign of anyone like lurking. There's not many shadows that a person could lurk in, but you're looking at them and you don't see any movement or anything.
Cool.
Porter, what'd you get on your observe?
I spent 2 grit to
Oh.
pay to the gallery so that I could get 4 successes.
Okay. Porter, you notice something you notice something which is around Morgan's neck. She has just the smallest, faintest red welt where like around her neck, and it's thin enough that it looks like it was a welt caused by a cord that was really, really tight. Not enough to be something like strangled her or anything like that. It's
Like a
only
choker.
on the sides of her neck. And with your 4 successes, you're able to discern that she was probably wearing a necklace that was forcibly ripped off of her neck.
Sure.
Because basically what happens is Dex is scouring the like larger room and nothing seems amiss for Dex. So you just inspect the body and that's what you notice. These 2 little red welts on the side of her neck that are like almost like they're so easy to miss. But part of your medical training allows you to notice like the skin is irritated there, and you realize like she was probably wearing like a cloth or leather like necklace of some kind that was ripped off and is not there anymore.
I do point that out to Dex. She must have been wearing something. If he killed her and left immediately, I don't think he got anything but this.
And then golden light flashes right next to you as Eloise is knelt down next to you, touching Morgan's like ankle or something. And her eyes have completely gone gold. Eloise, how many successes on final moment?
5.
Woo! Okay, that means you get to see the last minute of Morgan Branya's life, but not through her eyes. You get to see it as if you were a spectator.
What?
Which means you can notice things that Morgan wouldn't notice. You watch as Morgan is walking up the stairs and through the hall to her chamber. She unlocks the door, steps in for a second. She opens up a journal that is on the desk. Writes like a couple things in it really quick, just like a couple jots a couple things down. Closes it, slides it back to the back of the desk, and I need you to roll an observe test.
This
I'm gonna
is
help
where everything goes wrong.
We're gonna give it it's gonna be, it's hard because it's not just the power. It's just gonna be at a -4.
I am going to assist with this using motivational speaker.
Okay. What do you say to Eloise as she kind of like catatonically is holding on to, or no, there's no flashback. It's just what do you say, Eloise, in this moment as you see her writing things down? You hear Porter's voice like echoing in your ear into this memory.
Just focus. Don't take more than you need to. You've got.
His voice, like a hand on your shoulder, gives you what bonus?
That's a +6 there.
God damn! Holy shit! Yes, you're at a plus. You net a +2 out of this, Eloise.
Okay. I might actually, maybe if I roll well, I'll be able to see something. No. Okay. Well.
Could always go it strong.
No, I mean. Okay, well, I definitely played at the gallery.
Okay.
Right.
To count this 15, actually.
Okay.
And it explodes. Okay, and that's a 7. But I did roll a 20 on my 2 dice.
Boo.
So you misfire.
So I misfire, and now I'm in the unenviable position of having 0 grit or not undoing the misfire.
Oh, you can undo the misfire with 3 grit or not be at 0. I get you.
I don't think Argonauts giving anybody any grit. Hint.
God damn, fucking panhandling out here. He has given grit.
Yeah, yes.
He gave me grit.
Seth's out here manipulating the grid economy ahead of the election.
Right.
Typical.
God, it might actually be it. Are you open to negotiating? Can this be an interesting thing rather than just like you have a headache or something? Can it be a narrative misfire?
Well, no. I have, but so you misfire, but you get how many successes?
I get 2 successes.
Okay.
One is a 15, one is a 7 if it is opposed.
It is not opposed. So you watch, she like kind of moves the candle nearby. She writes a couple things down in her journal. You're spectating. You get to see the things she's writing is your names and descriptions. Like says like visitors and then your names.
Mm-hmm.
Says like Warden Dexter Bailey, Eloise, with like a line for where your name should be. Porter Janus, Gus Gurley, like it says like, the extra details, Markham's Landing, and did Gus say Winona Valley?
He
Yeah.
say Winona
So
Valley.
like she writes Winona Valley next to Gus. She closes it down, sets it off to the side, and then like she stands up for a second and like stretches, and that's when one candle goes out, darkening a corner. And she like turns and like grabs a candle from her desk. And as she reaches out and lights that candle, you see the shadows by her arm move and like touch her arm. And she pulls back as if she felt something. And she looks down and there's a little blood mark on her arm. And she like wipes it. And then her eyes start to cloud over and she steps back and like coughs a little bit. And then drops down dead. And in that moment when she drops to the ground and is like gasping for her final breath, you see something she didn't, which is the shadows begin to part as they like move away into the candlelight. And other candles go out, like they branch off of this body and put out other candles as it moves. But as like parts of this form touch the light that still remains in this room, you see the rough shape of Leo Riggs's face and 2 glowing green eyes that stand over this body as these kind of tendrils of shadow reach out and start putting out fires. And before the final fire goes out, those eyes turn and looked directly at you. And you see them see you.
Nope.
And then you come back to present.
I like point to like her arm where like the little little pinprick is.
Or you fold back the like cuff of her jacket, and you see that there is a dried little bit of blood there where a needle was punctured.
I immediately use my medkit to see if I can take a blood sample.
Yeah, I'm not going to make you roll for it. Your medkit can assess. She has been poisoned.
Yep.
Your like assessment is that the poison caused like immediate cardiac arrest as well as blindness.
Terrifying.
+1 grit to Eloise from the pack walk.
Thank you.
Pack walk.
So it's him. And he saw me. So there's no question now of if he's here or not, and he can make. He's not just made a shadow. He can move the shadows. He is just the shadows.
So wait, does that mean that light won't
He
Need
was-
to go.
Let's go. Come.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's him. He saw me.
How does that work?
Porter, he saw me.
No, I'm sorry. It's okay. We're here. If we stay together, we'll be fine.
But I didn't do anything to him, He left. He did something to me. He shouldn't
Right.
be
Yeah.
mad at me. He shouldn't be mad at me, right?
He's a bad guy, and we came to kick his butt. I don't understand. Right? We came here to kick his butt and get what he's got and take it to Waypoint and make ourselves free. Right?
So let's do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this ain't changed nothing. He was always gonna know we were here.
Right. Right.
I stop and I put my hands on Eloise's shoulders, like make eye contact. The only people Leo Riggs is willing to grant any amount of mercy are the people willing to do exactly what he says, what he wants, to further his agenda. If that's not what you want, in his mind, you are his enemy. And that's never changed. That was true when we met him in the mountains. It was true when you saw him in Brimstone. And it's true now. Nothing about Leo Riggs has changed since the moment we met him. He has always been this man. I'm sorry he's scary and terrifying and might want to hurt you. But he can't be allowed to do what he wants to do.
Right.
Dex, may I add? Elle, you know how I'm always talking about like people are thrown out of balance and you got to give people a chance to do good, and like sometimes you just gotta, just the right person or right situation comes and sets people right in balance. You probably tune that stuff out, but you heard me say it. Leo Riggs he's a bad guy and he's doing evil stuff, and we got to stop him. And honestly, it's fine if he dies on this one. I'm gonna be real with you. This one, no, nah. This one, he sucks. He's a bad dude. We're gonna do it to him.
Well, if Gus says that he's got to die, then Alana says that he's got to die. And if Alana's on our side, we can't lose, can we?
Yeah, I'd take that.
Maybe she could have a word with the fish god, actually take a stance for once in this one. That'd be quite helpful.
The fish god has been far too neutral for far too long. I think we can all agree.
From the beginning of existence.
Matters of
I
state
follow
politics
Dex's
and
feelings.
Yeah, I mean, I assume you guys are moving at this point.
I clip
like-
Morgan's gun belt around my chest. Porter, watch her back. Eloise, you stick to the middle. Gus, watch Porter. And I
right.
take point.
Cool. You guys quickly follow the instructions of Richards to the like main hall, like the Great Hall. The doors are cracked open. You walk in, torchlight abounds in this room. It's still not enough to like cover the ceiling and stuff like that from shadows, but like most of the area is pretty decently lit. You see dozens of people in here. You see Ruben and you see Vance. And as you walk in, Vance, who looks like red in the eyes, but like not that many, like whatever tears he's had, he's wiped away quickly. Goes, Kingsley too? Fuck. And he turns and you see there are 2 people in this hall who have gunslinger belts, and everyone else is armed, but no one is wearing a gilded buckle.
Yeah, I go straight to Vance. I take off the belt and I hand it to him.
Mm-hmm.
He actually he recoils as you reach out. And like in that brief moment where he like doesn't know what to do, Ruben steps up and like takes the gun belt and says thank you. As he steps off to the side, and like Vance looks like visibly shaken by you reaching out his sister's gun belt to him, like he wasn't prepared. And he like kind of like, you watch as he like collects himself and looks to you.
Listen to me, who's in charge here? Is it you?
I suppose yes, at this time, yes. This is Aaliyah Bassinger and Kenya Maine. He gestures to the other 2 gunslingers, the only other 2 gunslingers in this room.
I nod at both of them. Leo Riggs is in your castle. He can move through shadows invisibly, and I turn to Eloise and nod at her, and can manipulate the shadows to put out fires. I confirm with Eloise.
I think he can control the shadows. I like there's a Snallygaster, Snallygaster, the shadowy one. I can't remember.
Gus and Porter, you definitely know it's Snallygaster.
Like that, like is made of shadow for the but also a person.
What did
But
Morgan
also-
wear around her neck?
Vance looks confused for a second at the unexpected question, and then he goes, key to the archives.
Okay, we're going to the archives.
He says that's what he wants. He's looking for the archives. That's his target.
That's what
He's here for information about Owen Lemaire.
Bitch. He takes a couple steps forward with you. And then he turns back to Aaliyah and Ken, who are like following in lockstep with him. And he goes, at least one of you needs to stay back and take care of everyone here in case there's something we ain't ready for. And they like look at each other, and he looks to like the 4 of you and he goes, maybe both of you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Smart.
Yeah. You should stay.
Yaz, you also notice, has been like, she understood, she heard the hubbub. She is in this great hall.
I'm surprised she hasn't put on that
I think she got
jetpack
some
and
middle of
just
the
left.
She is wearing the jetpack. She is in a corner wearing a jetpack, like she is like behind some terrain, like she is ready. She's got her gun, her knives out. She's ready.
Going straight through a window at the first sign of trouble.
And then he turns back and he goes, all right, I'll go with the 4 of you to the archives. Ruben, Aaliyah, Ken, you take care of everyone in here. And the three of them like nod, and like you watch as like the stewards and the scribes that are gathered in this great hall start like boarding up doors and like arming themselves and lighting extra torches.
You have any electrical lights? Get them. I don't know if he can turn them off, but we've only seen him put out candles.
We got some stuff that will work, says Ken, and he nods to a couple stewards and scribes, and they branch off into a different hallway. Like he has both of his hard caliber pistols drawn as they like rush out with like torches and guns ready.
I shout after them, don't count on them.
We should go, says Vance.
Yeah. Lead the way.
And Vance with a torch, I assume all of you with different modes of light, rush through the relatively decently lit hallways up into a staircase that is actually disconcertingly dark, because the stewards hadn't gotten around to like lighting this part up. And Vance like stutters for a second and goes, "We should be ready, right?"
Wait. I have a tech cube. Can I make like
like an extremely bright light?
Jurassic Park, like giant floodlight, like flashlights, this big, she can't turn it off.
Like
and
this.
yeah.
Can you make a floating orb? That's what we really need.
If you use 2 tech cubes, you can make kind of a remote control floating orb. That like basically it can't leave your person, but like you can, it's like something that won't use your hands.
Are free.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
I could definitely give you a tech cube.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
So you stop for a moment. Eloise quickly puts this thing together. She puts together like a little 12-inch diameter like sphere that like is kind of like hovers like just above and behind her head and creates a 360-degree shine of light. One thing that catches your eye is like it's not perfect. Like any terrain creates very like strong shadows. But like it is at least much brighter as you guys can continue down these stairs.
I think I go first because that way Dex can just shoot right over. Like if anything's there, I can ward against it, but then Dex can.
The problem with this light is that it is 360. So anyone, I assumed you were in the back, so that way no one was looking past it.
Oh, okay, sure. I could be in the back. That's fine. That's not where the horror movies happen. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I thought Porter was in the back. Yeah.
So, I mean, you can be in the back too, but basically anyone who's shooting past this ball of light will probably have some visibility.
Has the sun in their eyes.
Yeah.
No, I'll be in the back. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Porter and Eloise in the back. You guys continue down the stairs through a couple more, much more dungeony looking halls, and that definitely did not get fortified with light. Well, like way earlier when you warned against Leo. Eloise's light orb doing a great deal to assist you in moving quickly, as you don't have to.
As we pass candles, I'm like,
just quickly lighting them as fast as you can using your Omni tool. You guys make it to these large double doors, which Vance uses 2 sets of keys, one around his neck and one on his key ring, to open. And he pushes it open and smoke billows out. And you smell fire. And as Vance opens the door, that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
God dang it.
Wow. Okay. Sure.
I'm so mad. Not at you, Tommy. I'm so mad at Leo. I'm so mad at him. Oh. It means that we can't kill him, because if we want to find out anything, I gotta touch his whole brain. God damn it.
Well, yeah. Do a brain touch.
Vance has to know shit about Owen Lemaire. His job is to know shit about the Legionnaires. I think we might be good.
I'm so bad. I'm so bad. All that data.
A lot
It's
of
on
data on
paper.
fire in there. Yeah,
Won't someone think about the data?
God.
Wonderful. Beautiful.
It's like in Knives Out. He's Knives Outing just a little bit.
Okay, so we're moving into the Q&A section of the stream. If you have any questions in the chat, now is the time to drop them. They can be questions about the campaign, about the characters, about the players, about the system. Drop a question in the chat. We will answer it. We have some in the Discord, though, from good old Argentlom. Let's see.
Also, thank you, Argetlam, for these questions every week.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Shout out to Argentlom for having questions
Shout
for
out
us
to
every week.
Argentlom
We
every
honestly
day.
super appreciate it. You are keeping this Q&A alive, and we love it.
love
Also,
you.
it's really fun to discuss the things you come up with. We love it so much.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Argentlom asks, it's a good old fashioned Argentlom let's build. So how would we build this character in Manifest? From the Discworld series, Cut Me Own Throat Dibbler.
What?
I was almost named after that.
Notable traits: a salesman through and through, truly in his element, selling anything and everything, from off-label merchandise that generally lasts as just long enough for him to be out of arm's reach, to aged meat pies, mostly sawdust, to ideas of practicality real estate.
This is an outcast grifter if I ever saw it.
You don't think he's peddler? I guess
No.
because the things he's selling are like
everything
meat
he
pies
sells
as
sucks.
sawdust. Yeah, meat pies as sawdust is grifter, not
Because the
peddler.
thing is, peddler is here to make a buck and sell you stuff, but a grifter can sell you anything.
Because I was like, oh, he's a peddler. But yeah, if you're selling meat pies out of sawdust, that's a grifter.
That's not a peddler.
That's not a peddler. That's a grifter.
Grifter.
Maybe he has like one or two peddler triggers.
This man is selling ideas. That's a grifter 100%.
Yeah,
Mhm.
fucking invented NFTs.
Yeah, it's a picture. Okay, well, I have pictures. Yeah, but this one's yours.
You own
Well,
that now. You own that
I
thing in that picture. I own.
I don't think you're understanding. It's non-fungible.
And a token.
God. Yeah, so Path of the Grifter for sure. I think he has one peddler thing, which is probably like something like you draw people to inspect your wares or something like that. Or a deal is tilted in your favor.
Yes. Listen, peddler and grifter are cousins.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anytime you sell a meat pie made of sawdust, a deal has been tilted in your favor.
Yes, 100%. Oh my God, I love that. Yeah, so obviously Path of the Grifter, maybe with a splash of peddler. Not
I think it's grifter into peddler because I think you really only want like one or two peddler triggers, but you want to be able to hit.
Yeah, and outcast feels potentially true if he gets caught a lot, because then he would be an outcast of everywhere that he got caught.
Yep.
Which is a great way to do outcast, because usually outcast is like, I didn't fit in because I'm illuminated, or I'm weird with people, but like this is like, no, I'm just a complete asshole.
I'm a real piece of shit.
They got my picture up all over that town. I really can't.
I'm
Honestly, the
running
name-
out of places to cross off that I'm not allowed to go.
Do not accept meat pies from my face.
The name Cut Me Own Throat for some reason just has real outcast vibes.
Yeah.
Got to.
That's like hardiness and moxie. Probably subtlety feels maybe right. Because then you could eventually get hustler, which is you just get two
You're
spurs.
just switching out meat pies in the pocket with the pocket stuff.
Yeah. Subtlety seems good. Also because you probably have to like get away really quickly and hide.
It's either subtlety or vigilance, and you are the fastest mofo on the planet.
Yeah, you fucking get on your bike and you drive. Yeah, I love it. That's great. That's a fun character. I love the name Cut Me Own Throat Dibbler. All right, another Let's Build from Argetlam is
Sounds
from
dirty.
Seth's. suggestion, which is let's build Marty McFly and Doc Brown from the Back to the Future series.
Let's go.
God, the path on Marty is hard, right?
Marty
Oh,
is
he grifter?
He's a grifter.
Absolutely.
no.
Absolutely.
No. Just because he's like, I belong, and he does it badly, that does not make him a grifter.
And then he lies about
No.
stealing Chuck Berry's music.
I mean, yes, he does cultural appropriate, but
Yes.
but I think he's an explorer.
He could be an
Ooh,
explorer.
a new experience being
I
had
think
and stuff.
I think he's half and half. I think he's an explorer grifter because he keeps ending up in places that he's gotta really sell that he belongs to.
There's either an explorer with high personality or an explorer grifter split as far as triggers go. I think he probably starts out as explorer and then
He's gotta
levels up.
start as explorer because if a hoverboard is not drive, I don't know what it is.
That's vigilance, because he can drive a hoverboard, a skateboard, and a scooter that he's made into a skateboard
And a train.
So
Thank
what?
you.
Urbanite explorer is what we're
I think so.
Yeah, I mean,
Is there a suburbanite?
it's called settler.
Settler actually makes more sense for him. Suburbs
But
is
then-
closest to settler.
In weird future, but then after the events of the first movie, he becomes a privileged explorer because his dad
Yes.
gets rich.
Well,
and famous
because you
for
you
writing, and
deal
he
in
has to go
time
down
travel, you
strong.
get to change your history, obviously.
Right.
You don't get to change your history by time traveling. I don't know how.
Wow, that's solid. Yeah, that's very solid.
Yeah, so he's got moxie and vigilance for sure. It's hard to say what his third tree would be. He throws a couple punches. Do they work ever? I don't think they ever do, really.
No, George is the one who lands the good
Get
punch.
your damn hands off her.
Yeah.
I think
He actually gets beat up and like the goons like hold him all the time, right?
Yeah,
like,
so it's not
other
that-
people do this stuff.
It's just
I
hard to
think
miss.
it might be subtlety.
He throws some
Oh,
punches.
he sneaks around a lot, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Subtlety seems probably right. Right?
Yeah.
Or you could really be silly about it and give him know-how for the lore
Yeah.
because he's already lived it.
He knows what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
'cause
know
he's
how?
read
He
about
has
this
sure
shit.
hands. He has sure hands because of he is great at the gun game in the arcade, and he throws with effective accuracy a frisbee pie tin right into the face of Mad Dog Tan.
Ooh.
I know these movies way
Okay,
better.
okay. Sure hands, vigilance, and moxie. That's him.
Man,
That's what is that what you have right now? Dex?
No.
No.
I can't say the joke because of the other joke I can't say.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
But,
Moving on.
Doc Brown is 100% like outcast tinkerer.
Outcast Tinkerer.
Well, he's
Oh,
on the
they're
ring.
both outcasts. Oh wait, no, they're not. They're
that's
not.
nice.
No, they're
I
not.
think
No.
he's an educated tinkerer.
Educated
He's
Tinkerer.
educated, but he's privileged. He took his family's fortune and he sunk it into his inventions.
But I think he's
Oh.
outcast because he like lives
he
in a
is
weird shed, and
outcast.
his
He grew up
only
without his
his
family.
only friend is the
Is a teen.
16-year-old.
If you're an old inventor and your only friend is a teen,
Hey,
you're an
listen,
outcast.
his only friend is not just a teen. His friend is also the Libyans who want him to make a nuclear bomb.
Right. And eventually also Mary Steenburgen. So
Yes. Ugh, love
The
her.
thing is like I don't think the people of the town are like, oh, you can't hang out with Doc Brown. He's fucking crazy and
yeah,
bad
but
shit'll happen to you.
nobody misses him when he just disappears off the
Yeah,
face of the
but,
earth.
like, here's the thing: Outcast is not people are indifferent to your presence. Outcast is people do not want you around.
Outcast
He
is
has
you
a-
are not part of society, which is exactly what Doc Brown is not.
He's part of society. He lives in a house in town and presumably goes to the grocery store
He has-
without incident.
He has a house with 100 cuckoo clocks and an amp that can cause structural damage to a building. Oh, that's an outcast.
No, that's a tinkerer.
It's both.
I think
I would stand in protest of Outcast. He lives in town fine.
I think he's outcast. It's not, but mostly because like in this world, like there's not like outcast. You have to be a hermit if you're not in town. I think if you are a recluse in town, you can be outcast. Like if you're like the creepy old lady who lives on like the house that kids go up to and knock on the door. Yeah, Boo Bradley. Yeah, exactly.
What I'm trying to say is that's not Doc Brown.
It's sort of Doc Brown. We don't get the perspective.
I don't think he has any society because it's only like that's what outcast is that he has no.
Also,
you don't
it makes
have
we'll have to agree to disagree on this.
It also makes his arc that much more beautiful because he does eventually find his home in the Wild West with his
flying train with Mary,
flying train through time.
Mary and his children Jules and Vern. I've watched these movies a lot, and I'm remembering.
I just remembered the wood burning different colors and being like, that's not how it works.
Okay. So he's definitely got know-how. I don't know what else he has, honestly, besides know-how. Like, the reason Outcast helps is it gives him hardiness so he can survive his own explosions. I guess vigilance. He's got to have vigilance, and because he fucking has good drive for the train and the DeLorean.
I mean, he can't fly the car, which is
unorthodox. Listen, it's unorthodox. He is a tinker, but he could also be a prospector.
Ooh.
No.
He wants to go. The treasure is time.
Yeah, the hard part is none of the prospector triggers are that vague.
Okay, that one Tomb Raider movie.
You could do teacher because teacher has a bunch of
his wife is a teacher.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
She fell into the gorge.
Interesting. Doc Brown
Not anymore.
Characteristically hard to pin down on the talent trees.
He's got Moxie as the third one.
Oh, yeah.
The man survived in the Wild West by just being a smart boy. Like
that's just
right, again, he invents so much shit in the Wild West and nobody bats an eye. He's just talking to them and saying, I know how to do this. This is good and great.
But twice a day.
That's metal.
Well,
if you're able to use lightning to power your inventions, that's metal.
No, you don't need any of those talents.
Technically, I guess if he's messing with time, he has to have metal.
Yeah.
No, he needs the car. He can't have metal. If he had metal, he wouldn't need the car.
It doesn't. You guys are talking about how he's good at things because he's smart. That's just a know-how talent.
No. Sorry. What I'm trying to say is he turns wild ass inventor in the Wild West and leverages it into a position in the community, which at some point will require him to explain why he's not a weird beard in the Wild West.
He has sure hands. Because he has to Argolov's point, he makes a sniper rifle in the Old West, and he takes it out, and he says, this can take the fleas off a dog's back at 200 yards, Tannen, and it's pointed right at your head. That is a sure hands move.
That's a
Moxie
challenge.
move. That's a Moxie move.
That's a challenge.
I
Okay.
don't think Doc Brown can follow through on the challenge. He has extremely good challenge and hopes they concede.
Okay. All right. Well, then
he has down the challenge line in Moxie. He has
in sure hands. There's the challenge line, right?
No. There's a challenge line in Moxie, which is when you roll a challenge, you get a +1, and then when you roll challenge very good, you give them negatives on the quick drop.
Just to further incentivize them to giving up or dying
this
horrible.
man negotiated a deal with Libyan terrorists, and you're telling me he doesn't have Moxie?
All right, Moxie.
Moxie know-how and the other thing.
And hardiness,
Vigilance.
I think. Yeah.
Vigilance for all the vehicles he uses, right?
He doesn't fly them well.
Also, Pinkerton. He's got to.
Marty drives them.
He also has Pinkerton.
Marty's the driver.
Marty is the driver.
Doc Brown also drives it.
But Pinkerton, though, he's a smart boy and he can read situations really well.
This is gonna.
I think we can't settle this tonight. We're gonna let you know next week.
No, we're not. Don't make that promise. We're dropping this the moment we turn off this stream.
You know we're not. You know we're coming up to that kitchen and are gonna scream at each other.
Okay. Argitlam has another question in the Discord. I also see a couple of questions in the stream chat, so we'll get to that in a second. Any more questions in the stream chat? Drop them now because we're almost done with the Discord. Argitlam says, based on my question about the bubble shields last stream and the knowledge that rules is written, they have to be firmly on the ground. Does a vehicle in a high-speed chase move, is a vehicle in a high-speed chase move fast enough to be impacted by the shield? So I think this is a bit of a lackluster answer because what the shield does is it takes damage that would be meant for you. So like if you're standing inside a shield and a car is coming to ram you, the shield would take like the damage, right? And you'd have like a chance to like dodge out of the way as like the ram happened, because rams,
sure. The shield would not actually stop the car.
Right. It would deal damage to the car if the car didn't have ramming plates, right? Because the car would count as having rammed the shield. Is pretty much what it comes down to. But like the reason it's
a slow motorcycle.
The reason it's an unsatisfying answer, yeah, it could maybe stop a slow motorcycle, because if the shield is still standing at the end of the ram, then it would be a crash basically. But the problem is most of these shields will not survive most crashes. And then also if the vehicle has ramming plates, it doesn't even matter because the vehicle will just blare right through that shield like it's nothing.
I think the important thing is that the shield will not stop a car from driving through it. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what you need the shield to do if this is the avenue you would like to go down.
I do like the idea of like having like 4 shields in a row and baiting a car into driving at you and then activating all of them at the same time.
Yeah, but then here's the fucking pro move. You don't. You go, okay, so you're trying to ram him. No, I'm not trying to ram him. I'm trying to pull up alongside him. And then you just go through the shields, no damage, because you're not making an attack. And then you back up over this motherfucker.
You just gotta dig a big hole and then cover it.
I mean, that's the easier way to take care of a vehicle. All right, moving on to the questions from the stream chat before we wrap up. Okay, well, this isn't really a question for Q&A, but I'm gonna point out anyways. Cardaxis says, "Isn't a meat pie made with sawdust a veggie meat pie?"
Yes.
No. Yes. Sawdust are not vegetables.
Sawdust is made out of trees, and trees are vegetables.
Okay, now I gotta look this up. Did she kind of vegetables? I don't know.
Set get on it.
Me and Addie both immediately understood the fucking logic to get through here. Anyways, next question.
While Seth looks up whether or not a tree counts as a vegetable,
it might be a fruit, honestly.
No, it's a vegetable.
Aryalam says, "What are each of your favorite places and or lore?" Within what you're allowed to say, of course. So what are your each of your favorite places and or lore on Manifest? So do you have a favorite place or a favorite piece of lore that you want to share?
Mine's a combination. It's both, really. There's a lot of really cool places. There's rad places all over Manifest. The best one is Red Post.
Oh, okay.
Because Red Post...
yeah.
Red Post, this fucking little town in the middle of the worst part of the Badlands, just has like the full infrastructure of sort of modern urban city almost. It's got like indoor plumbing, it's got street lights, it's got all this wonderful shit because the mayor is just a very good tinkerer.
Yep. Red Post is on the map of Manifest. If you go to the Manifest website, you look at the map.
Right.
Where Red Post is there.
Also, I believe was the start and end point of the session in which we learned 2 things definitively, amongst other things. 1, I could do this all day was too strong in that version.
Yeah.
And 2, the falling rules were non-existent.
Yeah. Both of which were Dan doing 2 things and me being like, okay, well, I can do this all day is too strong. We need to nerf it. And then also I need to figure out what the falling rules are because there aren't any. And he just did something that a human shouldn't be able to do.
Also, it's the first place that any Manifest character ever depicted got kissed.
Oh,
Manifest's first kiss.
Was that Tick? Did Tick get a kiss?
Nope.
Was it Juliet?
Yep.
Was it? Oh, did she kiss Steven? I love it.
Wonderful
He kissed
Jim
her,
Hot Steven.
and it caused some drama with Cyrus.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Beautiful,
Dude had
beautiful.
10 abs.
Dude did have 10 abs.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Atticus. I think Atticus Kumquat is the name of the character.
Atticus
Kumquat
Kumquat.
to his
Great
friends.
name.
Is the
Was
name?
played by, at the time, our very good friend Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is the mayor of Red Post, because that was Atticus's
Because Atticus
denouement.
fell in love.
Yeah.
Yeah, he fell in love with the
junkyard daughter.
the junkyard's daughter.
Yeah. The junkyard's daughter.
Favorite Nicholas Sparks novel.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's great. Yeah.
So like I'm not finding anything scientific on the internet. It's mostly just people arguing about does a vegetable need to be edible?
Ah.
A vegetable
that is the question, isn't
a
it?
vegetable is defined as anything that is not a fruit, but you would also part of the definition of a vegetable mean you should also be able to eat and digest it. But I'm not seeing like a scientific study or anything.
Well,
This is
that's not
Quora and Reddit. So
Okay.
We cannot get into the
I
fault.
can't. I have
the
met,
definition
okay,
just
I'm
because we
gonna,
have
I'm
to
gonna
move
talk
on.
about it in the Discord. I'm gonna talk about it in the
We
Discord.
have to move
I feel
on to the next
passionate.
question.
Yeah. Please, someone else talk about their favorite lore or location in Manifest.
I have a favorite location that I wrote about a while back for the lore in the book, and I don't remember everything about, but I think it's so interesting. There is an honest to goodness, and Addie, stop me if I ever say something that's not right. There's an honest to goodness arcade in Freedom City. There's a full on arcade with arcade cabinets and arcade machines, and the owner proprietor puts out has open bounties on specific machines that they can't find, and if you find any arcade machines out and about, we'll pay a hefty sum for them. But there is fully an arcade in Freedom City.
I forget his name. But the proprietor, basically, the ships that came over from the departure had like games on them and stuff, like especially like the ones that brought like a lot of the rich people. And so like when those ships didn't make it out for, when the wormhole collapsed, this guy was just like, I love Pong and I love like Donkey Kong and whatever, and like so he found all those cabinets like little Pac-Man or whatever.
I love this because I'm now imagining like two outlaws standing across town from each other. The Street Fighter arcade cabinet is off to the side, and one of them says, "Dead or alive, Street Fighter's coming with me," and then they draw on each other.
But there really aren't any other ones unless they like are in like crashes or something. Like this guy has like amalgamated all of them, and they don't have the technology to reproduce them. So once they die out, they're all dead.
Yeah,
Wreck-It Ralph gets wrecked.
It's 80% arcade game maintenance.
I'd say probably like there's like a dozen to 2 dozen like scattered amongst the planet of like one saloon that has one refurbished and salvaged thing.
Test your strength.
That like if this dude heard about it, he would offer that saloon like so much money to get the thing to add to it, his collection.
For sure.
I found the names that I wrote, but I will hold off on them.
I have not
in case they
approved
don't
them.
become canon. That's why I won't say them.
Okay. What about Seth and Roman?
I was gonna say I really like the salt flats as a concept of like an entire area that's impossible to live on. It's like the Dead Sea, but a desert. I also really like it because the first character I ever made for Manifest, part of his outcast journey was when they outcast him, they put him into the salt flats, just being like, fuck you, walk across this desert, like knowing that he's gonna die.
Was that
he was
Fisher
illuminated, and that helped him actually survive. This was
it was the Fisher, right?
Yeah, this was the Fisher.
Yeah. Oh man, Fisher Emil, the first
I love
Icthtarian in our playtests. Also, I said Seth and Roman, but actually Roman already said it, so it's Addie.
Is me. Cool. My favorite place is there is a crashed large cruise liner ship in the Heartwood Forest, and it was normally it would have been found, and they would have like stripped all of the metal to make spurs out of. But the people who got there first basically claimed the salvage on it, and instead uh, uh, created a whole city inside of this like crashed like nose cone down half of a cruise liner. So it's like this like bowl that like everybody lives around in like concentric circles, and then there's like an out exterior part that's like fallen over, kind of like how the Titanic broke, right? And it's like this, and it's like, so there's like upper parts that are like parks and stuff, and then you know, ramparts and stuff, so it's like extremely defensible. And they just like are, it's like a long road through the Heartwood Forest to get there, and it's my favorite thing I've created about Manifest. I want to make an adventure for that place one day.
Yeah, that's the third act of an Uncharted if I've ever heard it.
What, you think I should write video games?
So the question was your favorite location or your favorite bit of lore, and everyone did a location and some of the lore around it. I'm going to focus, I mean, I guess it has to do with the location, but mostly it's lore. And there's only so much I can say, but I think my favorite bit of lore to explore is the lore that revolves around not just Waypoint, but the lore that revolves around like Waypoint's current cast of like primary like proprietors and like town leaders, mostly because like a fun thing about Alex Graves is that Alex Graves became the mayor of Waypoint when she was 28 years old, which and the thing is, Felix Poole just a little bit before that, about 8 years before that, became the proprietor of the Golden Spike Saloon. And like there's a handful of like NPCs in Waypoint that were like part of an adventuring party. They were like part of a group of drifters who all worked together and did shit. And it's like Felix Poole's, like the story of Felix Poole like becoming the proprietor of the Golden Spike Saloon is fucking amazing, because that dude is like a scoundrel and a half. Like he is a fucking like grifter, outlaw, gambler, and I love him to death. And then like Alex Graves is like the most like honorable person like that you'll meet in all of like Manifest, like, you know, give or take. But like at the time that she became mayor, she did so because she was just like the paragon of the Badlands at the time, and like no one could even like argue with the fact that like this ex-soldier who was like just such a good fucking person didn't have the town's best interests in heart, and so they made her the mayor at 28 years old. And then like alongside that you have, oh god, what is her name?
Loretta, Saoirse,
Loretta Rose, and the Turnpike Inn. I'm forgetting her name. Why am I forgetting her name?
I know that there's tables outside where you can eat, and that it's a building divided in two with the staircase.
There's no tables. There's no tables outside of.
No, you can sit on the porch.
Yeah, there's a porch. But I'm forgetting the name of the proprietor of the fucking Henrietta Sparks. Jesus, the proprietor of the Turnpike Inn. Like Henrietta Sparks, Alex Graves, Felix Poole, Loretta Rose, and maybe other members of
certainly no one that has to do anything with the laundry.
No Oliver, no, that dude doesn't, he's not,
yeah, like I said, certainly nobody.
The laundry, he is a separate thing.
He's his own thing.
Yeah. No, but like Loretta Rose, Henrietta Sparks, Alex Graves and Felix Poole for sure, like, are part of their own like central core group of drifters who like did so much shit that they eventually became like the leaders and like owners of Waypoint effectively. Like Loretta Rose, the leader, like the blacksmith, who is so good that she can make gunslinger quality guns without being part of a gunslinger guild. Alex Graves, obviously the like most well-connected and influential mayor in literally all of Manifest. Felix Poole, who owns the Golden Spike Saloon and is just someone you do not want to be on the wrong side of. And then Henrietta Sparks, who is someone who you absolutely want to be on the right side of.
Is the only person who can get under Felix's skin.
She's the only person who can control all three of those people. If you are a close and personal friend of Henrietta Sparks, those three people are under your thumb because Henrietta Sparks can control each and every one of them. She is the most industrious person in Manifest, period.
And you'll hear all about, at least a little bit about all of them in the Drifter's Guide to Waypoint, which will come out after the book.
Yeah. They're great. I kind of want to say Winslow Casing was part of it, but I'm not 100% sure. That dude's wild.
I feel like it was Sheriff
They
Sweets,
found
right?
him in, it was Sheriff Sweets.
It was Sheriff Sweets. Sheriff Sweets was also part of their drifter group, and he is now dead. Yeah.
No, they found Winslow Casing just like talking to himself out like in the desert, and they were like, we need to take this guy into town. And then he turned out to be great.
Listen, the timeline doesn't make sense. This can't be true. I believe Winslow Casing was the first permanent resident of Waypoint.
He definitely predates all the other people I said. He's just been there.
Winslow Casing is the proprietor of the general store there, and he has just the most arcane, mysterious filing system that no one can discern at all. And he just has something for everyone all the time.
That building has always been there. Waypoint was
the consummate scavenger, basically. What a scavenger does when they retire, which is sell their stuff.
Have a pile of stuff.
All right, we have 2 questions left. They're kind of easy to answer, so let's rapid fire through them. Kyle from Gaming Inc. Asks, is there a way to make a sniper assassin?
Yeah,
very much so. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. There's a whole tree in the subtlety, which is if people don't know that you're there and you can surprise attack them, basically. It's the same as quick drawing them, but they don't get a defense test. You can just fucking, like, we always are like, oh, this gunslinger deleted this person from the timeline.
No, this is the way you explode someone out of reality.
Right, because they don't even get a defense. So, like, all those times we saw, like, in the podcast and, like, maybe on the stream, like, those times we saw a gunslinger, like, do enough damage where we're like, haha, that person's deleted from the timeline. That was an opposed roll.
Yeah, beat somebody.
You had to beat somebody and then spend grit. Like someone who is just like has that subtlety track and is hiding and just snipes someone from a mile away. Like that person just gets to do so much damage.
Roy Hampton had that. It was his entire ethos.
Yeah. And he was still using a projectile weapon. You take a heavy firearm and you lay down in a fucking like spot in the mountains and snipe somebody. You can deal the most amount of damage possible on Manifest. So that tree alone gets it. You probably want like some of the sure hand stuff so that you're
honestly, Hawkeye is the only one you really want out of sure hands, but like it feels really important for the thing you proposed in a sniper assassin.
Double tap also is pretty good because
if you have to double tap, you did it wrong,
right? Like because like I don't know. Well, they could have ready for anything, so they do get to dodge against the first shot, and then you just hit them again. So yeah, like making a sniper assassin. At most, you need 2 trees to make it work. 1 tree will probably suffice, which means your 3rd tree can be literally whatever you want. You want to be like the best possible at it. I guess you're illuminated and you can hide in the shadows and shit.
The main thing is that you to really sell it, you want both tier 4s and subtlety, which does not leave you a ton of talent points left over to work with in your other trees, which is good because you don't really need a whole lot more.
Yeah, just hide and shoot. So yeah, very, very well you can make a sniper assassin. And then Nachos asks, does Manifest have a zodiac? What sign are we in now? It has something close to a zodiac in the Australian religion, because there are certain constellations that are like part of that religion. And so part of that religion might be that like you were born under that specific sign, but it's not necessarily as widespread as the zodiac, I think.
It's yeah, no. Well, so it's the second most popular religion on Manifest. And currently, because I rolled a die, currently the constellation that is like primary, or like, you know, the highest at the pinnacle of the whatever, you know, the sky, rising sun, moon thing.
Star cycle.
The star chart.
Yeah, the one that's in the middle of that right now is the hoop snake.
What?
Ooh, a year of the hoop snake.
It's the hoop snake season. Time to keep rolling along. Time
Year
for
of the hoop.
movement. Time for momentum. To build momentum.
Or to look back at where you've come from and ponder, because it's all about the duality.
Yeah.
The hoop snake always knows where it's been, but is always moving forward.
Well, no, not like that though. It's like it's there's two aspects to it. You'll read about it in the book.
Mm-hmm.
Do
That's another one I helped write.
Do I have to contradict you, or are my notes wrong? My notes from the first campaign do not have the hoop snake as one of the elders.
Okay, well, mine do. We should compare who notes.
I don't think this could be answered on stream. We have
No,
to
yeah.
cut off
we
now.
gotta-
No, because I have because we wrote out the different elders in my campaign 1 notes, because we were first introduced to the Australian religion in looks like potentially it was
Sildina.
Sildina.
Y'all want a tiebreaker based on what I was told when I wrote the religions section of the
No,
book?
we don't have to do it on stream. That's fine. This doesn't.
We should not confirm or discuss this.
Yeah.
We'll leave it as a mystery.
No,
You read the book and find out.
Yeah, get the book, find out.
It's a hoop year.
It's a hoop year.
Okay,
It's a hoop year? Hold on. All right. Carnaxis says the tree is plant-based protein. And then Nachos says, when it's day, are we just in hide behind? It's like fucking like Mercury is in retrograde. Is like Raven 4 is in hide behind. All right, cool. We are done with Q&A. We are moving on. We are done with the stream. We are going to catch you all next week. It's going to be a whole new month. We're going to see you January 1st. We're going to start off next month.
Nope.
February 1st. We're going to start off next month. We're going to start off next month with Manifest Actual Play, as our drifters are in a castle with a murderous person who has just set fire to the archives. It's fine. Everything's totally fine.
I'm so mad at him.
It's fine.
All right. We will see you guys next week. Goodbye. Thank you for watching. We love you.